Show. Howard 101.
Jay Thomas, the host. Jay Thomas, the host.
I can't stand it, I tell you.
I love you guys are the best.
Jay Thomas Show.
It's the weirdest and the wildest. Horrible. Call 888-STERN-101.
Your name is?
Jay Thomas.
The Jay Thomas Show.
The Jay Thomas Show.
Jay Thomas.
I just found out I was the highest paid intern in the place. Just got that a few minutes ago.
Then why am I getting your coffee?
Well, I don't know why. Stupid. Hey, a few minutes ago, I'm literally like 25, 30 minutes ago, I was in the gym there at the hotel, and I just got to tell everybody this. This is there was this Lena Dunham type looking woman and her girlfriend who was kind of dumpy looking, and they're in there and they're like on the elliptical going like really slow and talking, and I'm over there, going as fast as humanly possible. That's how you're supposed to do it.
And you're also trying to get a workout in a short amount of time.
My workout is no more than 30 minutes, 25 minutes. It's a blast. It's a blaster, right? So I'm looking at these women. I'm thinking, I know that they're talking about boyfriends and catching a husband and going to a party.
Yenta shit.
They're not, but they're not working out.
No.
Now,
it might as well be under one of those hair things at a salon.
I'm going to give you the greatest workout ever. I got this from my chiropractor in Santa Barbara. I'll say his name, Mark. God, what's his last name? Anyway, I've known him for years. Good friend of mine, Mark.
Mark, whatchamacallit.
It's called the training room. Anyway, here's what he does. You get on, like the elliptical, and you burn as fast as you can on any level, 100 calories, as fast as you can burn it, right? You get off, and you do 10 sets of 10 squats, deep knee bends with no weight, and in between each one, you do some weights, you stretch, whatever. And then you either get on the
is that Eddie LeBeck?
What's the thing that you run on? What's that thing called?
Treadmill?
The treadmill. You run as fast as you can for a count of 10. You rest 10. Run as fast as you can for a count of 10. You rest 10. Guess what? Workout's over.
I like that.
That's it. Now, I have been having some trouble running. So, what's that?
Frisbee?
Yeah, Mark Frisbee. How'd you know? Shut up. I knew how you knew. So then you burn 100, you do those squats, you do the lifting and all, and then you can get back on the elliptical if you want to, or on the, whatever. Now, as weeks go on, let's say you have time, I burn 200. I burn a 200. It's hard.
Yeah.
And by the way, as you're doing it, God. God.
I hate Mark.
Now,
what the fuck's his last name?
Yeah. In the, nice going, Christina.
Hey, thanks, Jay.
In the gym now, these two women are like chatting, talking. They're going 3 miles an hour.
So I told him, you're not putting that there.
A Naomi Watts lookalike, and I only say that because I'm with her husband in the brand new television show on Showtime, Ray Donovan.
Yeah.
And a Naomi Watts lookalike comes in, who every guy in the gym at 5:45 wants to, climb in the sack with. And what does she do? She starts burning, boom. I mean,
nice.
She looks great. Now that's
motivation.
She's as dumb as a stick, probably. Sure. The other two might be more interesting.
What other idiots down there at that time?
There's no way to work out with that. And the talking to the trainer guy and all that stuff. I don't get it. So I just wanted to, people go, gee, I work out. No, you don't. It's supposed to. And then, last night I went with her to the Italian restaurant where they make the pizza with French fries and the Hebrew National. This place where Elizabeth Shuley.
You should keep laughing.
He sounded like a serial killer, Garrett, when he saw the Girl Scout troop walk by.
You know how I knew it was delicious? When Jay looks at me and he goes, "This is good. It's light."
It's light. Yeah, it's a French fry thing. So we had that, and we're going to have the Italian guy on a little while, only because his accent is funny. And so I ate a little bit of that. Now, Christina, you're not going to believe this. I had a martini. I'm on this big diet, right?
Yeah.
And of course, we had some imbibement also that I don't know how you say this, Al.
Enhance the evening.
It whetted my appetite.
Sure.
when I got off the subway to go back to the hotel, I was starving, and I'd had Brussels sprouts and...
Breaking news, I had Brussels sprouts.
Yeah.
That's the bigger surprise. Go ahead. So what happened? What did you eat after?
Hold on. Before that, what was the other option other than Brussels sprouts? Banging Jay? Why on earth would you eat Brussels sprouts?
Well, you know what? I have to tell you something. She's one of these picky eaters. Now, and the reason is, this is the reason.
Cheese all over it.
Why don't you, she's an only child. Tell him.
It's my girl over there.
Now listen, I'm not on a date. We're on a business thing, but you have to talk to her, right? So I said, well, gee, why are you such a picky eater? Why don't you give me the explanation of why you're a picky eater because of the way your mother raised you?
Because my mother is an Americanized Italian, so she didn't want to, put me through what she had to be put through.
What was she put through?
Like, she had to eat everything that was in front of her. She had to, her mother made her clothes for her until she was 18 years old.
Right.
She had to basically run the home. And my mom always said, I didn't want to do that to you, so she spoiled me rotten.
And you could eat whatever you wanted to eat.
Yeah, like they would make something and then they would make something else for me, usually a fried chicken cutlet.
Wow. That's it.
Good for them.
Well,
Thanks.
so I get out of the subway and I'm hungry. And now, of course, I'm on this big diet. I know you hate me. I go to that Sabro thing where the food's been sitting in those steamers.
Do you order your slice and go, where's the Empire State Building
No,
at
no.
exactly?
I can't believe you're in New York and go to Sabaro.
Whatever that is.
Take a picture
And
of them putting your pizza in the oven.
I got salad. I got a chicken cutlet, and I ate another meal, but it was totally, non-fattening.
You're tweeting out a photo.
Yeah.
Authentic New York pizza.
Yeah.
You say that it's like a hate crime out here. If you go, I'm going to get Sbarro, they go, get the fuck out of my face.
No, here's my favorite. I run downstairs and I see that sign, all you can eat breakfast buffet, $7.89. And I have trouble because I don't want to just get the egg and a little fruit and everything. I want to eat all I can eat for $7.89. Yeah.
Sure.
So
You got a little Jew in you, my friend.
Then Christian Kroll, who says,
Say no more. We all know who that is.
Now the number he uses, I will not use. He uses another number. 101 minutes of sex a day is the best way to have a perfect day. I love when these people come on and they give you these time limits. We've had the 1 hour orgasm.
I'm sorry, 101 minins a day?
Who has 101 minutes to be
A prostitute, I think.
penetrated?
Well, he says,
Penetrated.
well,
When you put it that way, it sounds ridiculous.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
hey, 7:06, 6 minutes after 7 o'clock.
Time to penetrate.
It's time for the penetrator.
It's the Matt,
time for the penetrator.
It's the Matt Fishman Show with Christina.
68 degrees. We're going to penetrate. We'll be right back. Here's some scorpions.
Anyway, he's where is he? He's in Germany. This guy's in Germany, and he's done research at Jacobs University in Germany.
Boy, they love that research over there in Germany, don't they?
Anyway, I don't, you know what? By yourself with another human being, I don't know. Even if you're madly in love, I think 106 minutes, 101 minutes, an hour and a half, that's a long time.
Yeah.
I don't get it.
Ain't nobody got time for that.
Banged my wife 37 times in 101 minutes. Are you kidding me?
While 36 minutes of work is hardly practical, the gulf between what should be and what is might help explain why so many people are unhappy these days. Well, I don't.
How are you supposed to do
Garrett,
101 minutes when all you can last is 2?
106 minutes. No. Let's say you make out, you foreplay. Wait a minute. Oh, it's a lot of foreplay.
Wait, you finish?
Oh, but like kissing and stuff, that's part of it.
Really? You know what's funny?
Girl, do you hear him?
You want to hear the truth? 106 minutes would actually be me driving to the restaurant.
That's what I'm saying.
Eating, getting home, and getting laid. I can do all that in 106 minutes.
Watching The Notebook, does that count as time? Penetration?
Say,
Yes, only because she's crying.
I'll never watch it, but they write about it like this Ethan Hawke thing. These 3 movies he did with Julie Delphi or whatever. Before midnight, after sunrise, and then there's a third one before sunset. Have you seen any of them?
No.
None of them.
No.
Have you seen any of them?
No.
They write about them like they're these incredible, movies. I would never go see anything like that.
I just saw the first Girl with the Dragon Tattoo the other day.
Oh, now that's a love story.
That fucking, that.
Which one?
Well, see, that's the thing. I don't know. It doesn't explain on Netflix, like, the order,
No, you saw the Swedish one?
Yeah, no. I saw the Swedish one, and it was when she had the probation officer, and he...
Yes, and that's the girl with the dragon tattoo. Then the next one is the girl that kicked the hornet's nest. Right. And then there's a third one.
The girl that
I
played with fire.
Girl with played with fire.
I loved the first one.
And then the American one was surprisingly good.
It was?
With the owner of the New York Giants' granddaughter stars in it.
Oh, really?
She is going to be worth, and she's worth it now. She's probably worth on her own $100 million.
That Swedish chick who's in that movie is
Numi
ripped.
Rances or whatever. She's in another movie now. She's in some sort of shoot 'em up movie I saw the other night that makes no sense at all. And she's she her eye was hurt or something. Oh, it's called she wants to get a guy to kill
the girl who lost one contact lens.
Wait a minute. Colin Farrell lives across from her. She sees him strangle a guy to death in his apartment. Now, why he kills a guy with the window open, I don't know.
Who knows?
And so she got run over by a guy, and she goes out with him, and then she says, I saw you kill that guy, and I want you to kill this guy that hit me and caused my eye to be screwed up.
I'm in.
Right? But it does, you know what? It needed it's like, I'm looking at the thing going, come on, don't. Please, somebody write this thing just a little better.
The thing I liked about the movie I saw is, when you're watching a movie, I don't know if you're like me, but you already figure it out in your head. You're like, oh, I know what's this.
No, I don't try to do that.
Well, sometimes I do, but this is...
Why do you laugh at that? I don't try and do that. It ruins it for me.
But this was something that you wait until the last
Why you're
minute.
laughing?
Garrett, you want to explain yourself?
The way to watch a film is to watch the film and enjoy the story. By the way, when I wake up in the morning, do I know how the day, Al, do you know how the day is going to end today?
Nope.
Are you thinking about how it's going to end?
No.
No, I'm not either. I look at a film much like
Garrett
life.
just walked away.
Yeah, I look at a film much like life.
Right.
You
take it day by day.
I don't know how the day is going to go. I have no idea. I know
a lot of surprises.
I'll tell you what, I've been surprised a lot in the last 24 hours.
Dude, you're telling me.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Things are just, up and down, up and down. Let's go. By the way, you're a rapper named Jamal David Diggs, known as J Diggs, and you're in Santa Clara, Utah, and you're driving in whatever car you're driving in, and the cops see you. The local Santa Clara, Utah cops see you driving like is that a Camaro, the new Chevy that's kind of cool looking with the tinted? You're driving your Chevy Camaro. You got sunglasses on. You're obviously not a
Mormon.
No, you're not a Mormon. And who knows who you're visiting in Santa Clara? And you were pulled over during a routine traffic stop, and they find marijuana and paraphernalia in your vehicle, and they stop you, and you go, what have you stopped me for? Al, can we go around the horn? Is it possible that we can go around the horn? I want Garrett Andrus to join in this also in a moment. Now, Shuli, he was not speeding. He did not cross the yellow line. All the lights were everything was working. Everything in the car, everything was car. He did not run a stop sign. It was not a moving violation. This is something that you would have to really, really want to stop. The ethnic rapper, you would really want to get him, because you can't just pull him over, driving while rapper. You can't. Right. That's so. Al, what do you think they stopped him for? It is something that he did with the car. What do you think it was?
Oh,
did he put one of those things on top of the license plate that stops the camera from capturing it when it goes through the light?
He had a covering thing over the license plate.
It's like a dimming...
Yeah, they didn't have enough light so they couldn't see it. Garrett, he stopped in Santa Clara, Utah. He's a rapper. Not speeding. Nothing that you would even imagine. And you're the cop and you go, I've got to stop this Negro individual.
Sure.
And I've got to...
That went over the scanner, by the way.
Yeah, I've got to stop this Negro individual. That's how they talk.
Got a Negro individual?
Yeah, over. That's how they talk there in Santa Clara, Utah. What do you think they stopped him for?
Windows tinted too much.
Too dark.
Yep.
Couldn't see inside.
Well, too dark inside
Christina?
and outside, apparently.
Christina?
I'm going to say a lowered...
All you could see is the glint from his grill.
That's right.
Yeah.
I'm going to say the seat was back too far.
The seat was back too
Yeah.
far.
That's a good guess.
Listen, it is in that territory.
That's a good guess.
It is so bullshit. What do you think?
I think I have two guesses. One is he was driving on one of those donut tires, and that just looks silly.
Yes, the tires didn't match.
Right.
All right.
And then the other guess is too much bling. Maybe that might have freaked him out.
Let's let a listener. Let's go to Dave of Rhode Island. Dave, in Santa Clara, Utah, rapper Jamal David Diggs, known as J Diggs.
J Digging around.
Why do you think they stopped him in Utah? You have any idea?
He took my answer, the tinting of the windows.
Yeah.
So I'd have to say the other thing would be his 22's spinners were too fat.
His spinning tires. Believe it or not, the rapper failed to dim his high beams.
Oh, snap.
Wait a minute.
Wow.
Can you imagine? Yeah.
I mean, that's right up there with, like, the Porky's movie. They go, taillights out, and then they break it.
I got pulled over once because I flashed my high beams, but I was only doing it because there was a deer.
The cops got you for flashing?
Yeah, I flashed because there was a deer, and I didn't want the person coming, because I lived in Pennsylvania, to come on. So
and they
that's
pulled
what you
over
do.
for flashing?
Yeah, they thought that I was flashing to let them know about the cop, but I didn't even see the cop. I was really just doing it for the deer, because I didn't want somebody to hit a deer. It was nighttime.
The cop was coming in one direction, or the cops were behind him, or whatever. He kept his high beams on, and the cops pull him over, and they say, you did not dim your high beams into oncoming traffic.
Oh, and you're black in Utah.
And let's look in the glove compartment. And that's what they got him for. That's unbelievable. Because, you can't just stop them.
But
you've got to have a reason.
Okay, so once they stop them for the high beams, why would they
How could they
then
search
make
you?
a connection to search your car based on your high
Smell
beams?
it, maybe.
I got stopped one night in Malibu and totally by myself.
By a Jewish highway patrol officer?
Not really, but it was right after that. And the guy, he says, hey, and he's got some young guy with him. He goes, hey, you crossed over the white line or something back there, right? You were swerving. I said, well, it's a little dark here and this is a curve. I don't, think I was swerving, but whatever. He says, where were you tonight? And I said, oh, I was having dinner in Santa Monica.
Uh-huh.
And the guy goes like this, really? Where'd you eat? Did you go on Electric Avenue? I went, yeah, I went to Venice or whatever. He goes, where'd you go? I go, oh, I went to Hal's. It's a restaurant. He goes, oh, I know it.
What'd you think of the steak?
No. You know what he said?
What?
They have a great wine list, don't they?
Oh, snap.
That's what he said to me. And I'm really relaxed.
Setting up
And I
trap.
went like this. I said,
Fantastic.
I wouldn't know.
Good for you.
Oh, by the way,
Good for you. I'm a minister.
I was completely loaded. I said I wouldn't know.
You're talking to him out the other window. You see your left.
He turns to the guy next to me and he goes, do you smell alcohol? That's what he says to the guy next to him. And the guy says, yeah, I smell. Now we're outside.
Yeah.
Now I'm thinking, only my wife can smell my breath, at a roadside stop, in the middle of the night, literally with the wind blowing off the ocean. And I said, well, I don't know what you're smelling, but, so I had to do the walk and touch my nose and all that stuff. And I come back, he goes, I think maybe there was some garbage over here in the weeds. I swear to God, he did this.
I had in
Let me go. They let me go.
I had in, Canyon Country out in California,
very well.
right?
I do.
So I'm driving, I used to see a girl there and I'm driving back home and I see these lights pop out of nowhere, a car, kind of coming up quick on me. I don't know why. I mean, I know why, because I was high, but I go, wonder if that's a cop. And then I do one of these. I pull the wheel hard to the left and then back to the right.
Why?
I couldn't tell you why. I don't, not the smartest move. Turns out was a cop and, pulls me over and he's like, you been drinking tonight? And I go, no, sir, which I haven't.
No,
I
of
was
course
smoking a ton of weed, but I didn't drink anything. And he goes, he does this. He goes, breathe into my hand.
No, he did not.
I swear to you. Makes his hand like
No,
this.
he did not.
I swear to you.
That's the dumbest thing I've ever heard.
It is. So I did it. Right. And,
Well, of course you did.
and I'm like,
Oh, God.
and then he takes his hands and
No, he did not.
he puts it
That's
over.
worse than when your mom takes a thumb and puts a spit on you and you smell like her all day.
Well, then he goes, he smells, he goes, do it again. And I'm like, what? And this time in my head, I'm thinking, would it be fun? I had the dumbest stoner voice that talks to me when I get high, and my stoner voice goes, You should lick his palms when you do it. That'd be really funny and freak him out. And he never asked to do it again. And then I just breathed it in again. He goes, all right. He goes, I saw you swerve. And I said, yeah, I dropped something. And I went, sorry.
What'd you drop? My joint? I dropped my joint.
I didn't drop a roach, and I swerved accidentally, and he let me go. But, yeah, that was the dumbest.
Angelo of New Jersey, line 5 there. Thank you.
How's it going?
Yes, good. Hello, Angelo. Yes.
I was with a friend of mine watching a movie one night, at the movie theater. It's like 12:30, 1 o'clock, let's out. Driving down this dark road, one of those shitty roads that, the lane that you're in turns left, so you have to swerve to the right to keep going straight.
Yeah.
Cops behind me, following me for about a mile. Pulls me over. He says, oh, you're swerving all over. I said, sir, the road sucks. I don't want to make a left turn. I'm going straight. Anyway, he looked in my eyes. They're all bloodshot. He goes, you been smoking tonight? I said, no, I had LASIK done a week ago. He goes, really? How is it? I want to get it done too. Let me go.
Well, you called me and I stopped this multi-billion-dollar radio station to hear that. Would you get rid of him, please, Al? Get rid of him. Get out of here. When I lived in Sedona, Arizona, right? This better be good.
This is good. I got pulled.
You've already done a good one with blowing in the hands.
This is even better.
You're going to top yourself.
This is even better. This cop pulls me over. I'm in my friend's car.
No, I'm sorry I started this. Yeah,
he goes, you're doing like 15 over the speed limit. And I said to him, look, I'm new here. I just moved out here. I don't know all the speed limit.
Sedona.
I said, I apologize, and he goes back and he starts, and he goes, you know what? Says, I'm going to let you off with a warning. And he lets me go. A week later, I'm driving my car, different car. I get pulled over by a cop in a different part of Sedona. He walks up. He goes, you're doing 20 over the speed limit. And right away, I go to my old faithful, got me out of the last ticket. I go, listen, I'm new here. I don't know the speed limit signs. And the guy goes, do I know you?
No, he didn't.
And I look up. It's the same fucking cop a week before that pulled me over. And I go, no, we don't know each other. He goes, do you have a brother that lives up here? And I go, yeah, I sure do. He goes, I pulled your brother over last week. And I said, yeah, he told me about you. He said you're the coolest cop in Sedona. And he looks at me and he goes, I hope you think so after today. And he walks back to his car, comes back, and 2 minutes later he goes, you're in luck. Today's your lucky day. I got another call. Get out of here. Same cop, same excuse, got out of 2 tickets 1 week apart. Top that shit. Well, 888-STERN-101.
Yeah.
Motherfuckers.
No, don't. Fucking idiot.
Thank you.
Stupid.
Very polite.
Let's go to Liz of Buffalo.
Are you ready for this?
Oh, Jesus. Yes, go ahead.
You better fucking suck some cock in this story, Liz. I'll tell you that. Because you got some stiff competition over here.
What did the cop ask you to blow into?
No, really.
Yes,
this didn't happen to me, but I know the old lady that it did happen to. Now we're
come on. You're not even telling
That's a third person pullover story.
No, you can't tell a third person pullover.
I can.
No, you can't. No, you can't.
Yes, I can. You're going to love it. It was my neighbor.
All right, what happened to her?
All right.
How many feet does she live next to you? Like, if it's more than 50 feet, we got to hang up on you.
No, let's get this over with. Go ahead, Liz. Yeah.
Let's get it over with. So anyway, she's going out to lunch with her lady friends. They're all like 85, 90 years old. Not kidding you.
It's getting better.
Now, she gets pulled over because she is, 80 in a 55.
All right.
So
wait a minute. Hold it a minute. She's 80 years old in a 55 mile an hour zone. What are you talking about?
So she was doing 80 in a 55 mile an hour zone, and she was about 90 years old.
Right.
So anyway, her and her lady friends, they get pulled over. She pulls over. The state trooper indicates to her to roll down the window, and she does. And
she dies? That would be good. If I change this story and say she died, that would help.
Died with his cock in her mouth.
You're gonna be sorry that you're dogging me on this.
We're sorry already.
You know what? We're gonna be totally quiet. Let's go.
Go ahead.
Here we go.
Okay. So hurry up. So anyway,
she's 80 years old in a 55.
90.
She's 90 in a 55.
Doing 80 in a 55.
Yeah. She's 90 doing 80 in a 55.
Now, if a train leaves Chicago.
All right, hold on. Go ahead, Liz. Go ahead.
Okay. So anyway, he asked the state trooper, "How did you know I'm going so fast?" And he points up, to the sky, air traffic. She said, "God told you?"
All right, get rid of her, please. Get rid of her. Get rid of her. It's unbelievable, isn't it? It really is. That people think that these stories have any value. I mean, now I'm wondering about anything I ever say on the radio. Does it sound like, sometimes when I'm driving around and I'll hear other announcers and I go, God, I hope I don't sound like that. I hope I don't. I can't, and some right in this building, that you listen and you go, please, I don't sound like that. I can't. Let's go to, John on line 3. No, I didn't say call up and tell us your pullover story. I read you the rapper thing. Yes, go ahead, John. Yeah.
Hi, how you doing today?
Fine.
Okay.
Actually, no, it's not good.
Okay. Well, hopefully this will be a little bit better.
Really? Okay.
Don't worry, I got one more if this bomb.
Yeah. Go ahead, John.
After the wedding reception.
After your wedding reception.
Okay. Car's all decorated, just married, yada, yada, yada. Heading back to our apartment because we're getting ready to move back to New Jersey that night. I get pulled over by the cops. All right. Now, my wife's sitting in the car. I get pulled over. We're on Van Nuys Boulevard. I got to go through the whole routine. One guy's got his hand on his gun. Like I'm about to do something. I'm dressed in my tuxedo. The other guy's running me through the test. After about 10, 15 minutes of putting me through hell, I'm spending my wedding night in jail. Anybody that I know is still at the reception. I can't call anybody. This is way before cell phones.
Right.
After about 15 minutes, he finally says, okay, I'll let you go. He turns and pulls the U-turn. I figured he was just busting my lunch because I just got married. I figured,
all right, get him off the phone. Stop it. I can't take. By the way, if any of you say I suck, let me tell you who sucks. All of you suck. You're all
burning bridges.
No, I'm not burning any bridges.
No, you sure?
But for those of you that go, well, yes, he's not as good. You're no good either. You know what? I may be bad in the radio, but you suck as listeners.
The Jay Thomas Show.
I hate you!
You never know what you are going to get because we don't know either.
Howard 101.
Jay Thomas.
Would you mind repeating that, Jay? This is the Jay Thomas Show. Howard 101.
In a little while, the Zam Butters will be here playing this song live that we recorded just, when did we record this? Just last week. Turned it up.
Hey, what the heck?
Yeah.
Eddie LeBeck.
Yep.
We heard a rumor, a wicked rumor, that you're dead. Word on the street that you're 6 feet deep. It's all baloney and no Zamboni. Took you down on the web.
Kind of like the Monkees.
Well, it's simply lies. We don't care what the world has to say, 'cause in our eyes, still alive. I'm dead. Trust me. Put X's on my head. Time ticks away. But here's what we said. We're thinking miles of action. I'm dead. They let you slide. Carla, she said, that Eddie's not dead. The LeBec's in Quebec. They all said, yeah, he's doing fine. I don't know French. Take it, John. Qu'est-ce que c'est? Sacré bleu, ce talent, enchanté. Mais au fond du frère, we don't care.
Wow.
Yeah, we don't believe it, can't conceive it, 'cause in our eyes, we're still alive. Trust me, I'm dead. Wow. Put a mirror under my nose.
All right, the Zambonis, they sing this tribute song to Eddie LeBec, the character that I played on Cheers, and then I rapped in the middle of it or whatever, and
are you going to rap again today live?
I guess I'll have to listen to what I said, but I can't sing or anything at all.
What a good day.
Well, the
By the way, I thought I was so hip. I was going, I'm dead, but when I hear it, it's like I'm dad. I'm dad.
There's another band that's a big fan of the show.
Who?
Band Battlecross.
Really?
Yeah. And they did this song in honor of you.
They did?
Yeah. Al, you gotta pump that shit up, buddy. Come on. Let's wake some people up. Oh, they just said Eddie LeBeck. Did you hear it?
No, I didn't hear it.
Yeah. Listen. Carla. They said Carla.
No, they didn't. They didn't say any of that. You know, you're trying. You know, it's funny. You're trying to top my group now. An idiot. All right.
Listen to this riff. Come on. All right. I'll bang a chick 101 minutes to this shit.
Yeah, I know you will. There you go.
Woo! New album's out. Check them out. It's out across.
Call us at 888-783-7610. We haven't had live music, and I think, my son did some stuff here, and then we had somebody, I forget who else.
Somebody on the piano with Ira singing we had was the last time.
We haven't had it in a while, and we just seemed like we needed to freshen the show a little bit.
And I like seeing Garrett as a roadie.
Yeah, Garrett's carrying stuff, Let's go to Bill, who's in Brooklyn. Yes, Bill, it's Jay Thomas. Yes, go ahead, Bill.
Bill or Joe?
Your name?
Whatever your name is, sir.
What's your name, Joe? Joe.
Yeah.
Hello, Joe.
I just wanted to let you know that the reason cops people pull over with high beams on is because most people, when they steal a car and punch the column, the high beams turn on and they can't turn them off. So that's probably, that's probable cause right there.
Wait a minute now. Hold it a minute. Very good, Joe. Very good. So these police officers in Santa Clara, Utah, they saw this hot-looking car with the high beams on, and they went, wait a minute. Maybe this ethnic person has stolen that car because, as you know, ethnics are thieves. That's how they talk. Yeah. I don't know if you know that or not.
That's the thought process.
I don't know why I talk like that. I've suddenly become...
And not only do you talk like that, it rolls off your tongue.
It does. It's like I know how to do it, but I don't. Wow, you a cop, Joe?
No, I'm not. I'm actually a college student, so I know a little too much about it, but,
Have you ever stolen a car? Have you ever popped the column and hot-wired a car?
I've hot-wired a car, but not to steal it,
For what reason would you hot-wire a car?
Just to show off.
Yeah, sort of.
Really?
Yeah, we were just doing it to a friend.
How do you do that, actually? How do you do that?
Red to green,
man.
Give
us a step-by-step instructional on how to hotwire a car.
You know how to do it, too?
No, but I'll learn and then...
No,
I wasn't always a newsman.
Well, first of all, in the new cars... In the brand new cars, you've got the keyless and all that nonsense. So you put a screwdriver into the ignition and you pull all the wires out. Is that how you start?
Well, in the new cars, you don't really have a key to put in. It's just like literally a button. So the newer cars, you just punch the column and, it depends on the car, but you just mix and match wires and eventually you'll get it to start.
Wow.
You ever get shocked trying to mix and match the wrong wires?
No.
You don't get shocked. There's not enough there.
Oh,
all right, Joe. Thank you very much. The high beams denote perhaps a theft. You learn so many things.
I like how all of a sudden you're a mechanic. You can't get shocked. There's not enough going on.
Well, really, there's not enough AC/DC going through the hyperspheroidal and into the amperature and the wattage.
88 miles per hour.
Let's go to Chris of Connecticut. Yes, Chris, it's Jay Thomas. Yes.
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call. One more quick story. I'm telling you, this is the best story you'll ever hear.
No, it isn't.
Listen, okay, just give me a chance.
All right, what is it?
All right, 3 of us in the backwoods of Connecticut tripping on acid, just completely out of our mind.
Yeah.
We get pulled over, and we're actually playing it pretty cool. The cop walks back to his car after talking to us, trips, falls, cracks his head wide open, knocks himself out. Now we're freaking out. We don't know what we don't have cell phone service.
Oh,
so one of my buddies gets the bright idea of calling in on his radio.
Did the cop give you a ticket?
No, he came up at first and said, "Hold on, let me go back to my car." He talked to us and he said, "Let me go back to my car. I don't know if he wanted to run our plates or whatever." But he never made it back there.
Why didn't you just drive away?
Because I don't know.
They were tripping on acid, first of all.
Oh, really? Well, does that make you stay where you are, tripping on acid?
No, it makes you freak the hell out.
You know what this sounds like? This sounds like Fargo. You know what I would have done?
Put him in the wood chipper.
I'd have blasted him, dragged his body up in those woods, and just drove on. That's what I would have done. I mean, you know what? What a bunch of pussies you are. You got a cop who's hit his head. He's bleeding. Why? He just stopped you. He's about to disrupt your life. You're gonna get a ticket. You're gonna have to go to traffic school, and you had your chance.
Insurance is gonna go.
What? You're telling me what? You helped him?
No. Well, listen. We don't know if he already called in our plate number.
Right. Well, okay.
So his buddies get on the
you
radio.
know what? I'll give you a pass for not leaving the cop to bleed to death. I'll give you a pass, okay?
So he's knocked out. My buddy gets on the radio and he says, "Officer down."
No, he doesn't.
Christ.
What?
So,
Well, I mean that is
Special Victims Unit all of a sudden.
in all fairness, you look a little silly going, "Officer tripped."
How about this? Hello? 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 Hello?
Hey, what's your handle?
Hello? Hello? You know.
What's your 20? We're here with a clumsy cop.
When he said officer down, what happened then?
So, someone came back over the radio and he starts talking to the dispatcher saying, "Listen, some cop just pulled us over. He tripped and fell and he's knocked out.
And we gotta go." So you better send somebody over here. We
all got back in the car and just sat there and we're like, we waited. It's literally a minute and a half.
You didn't go over to the guy and touch him or say anything to him?
No, we did. We did. We tried to wake him up or whatever.
Yeah.
And he was out. He was out cold. And it turns out actually he broke a vertebrae in his neck.
Ooh, wow.
When he fell.
So the cops pull up and you guys are tripping on acid. And did they pull their guns on you?
They had AK-47 guns. We are losing our shit in the car, just completely flipping out.
Yeah.
It took hours for us to get out of there with all these flashing lights.
So let me go back.
A reward?
Let me go back to what I said. Do you not wish you drove away?
Yes. I wish we let him on a high-speed pursuit at this point.
But did they give you an award? Because don't you get an award when you report a cop shot
You
or
do.
something like
You
that? So were you
Yeah.
awarded for that?
Well, no, here's what happened. The same guy, the same buddy who called into the radio told one of the cops that we're all freaking out on that.
No, come on.
Come on, dude.
So
what is that?
Just to let you know, we don't hang out with this dude anymore.
Well, I guess not.
Hard to hang out with a dead guy.
Yeah.
What they did is they ended up being cool and just letting us go.
Right.
So there was that was our reward.
Well, you know what? Actually,
that was a good story,
that's a very
sir.
good.
Thanks for saving the
Very
topic.
good story. Thank you. It's so funny. Everybody's trying to, we come in, no one's calling. If we asked a question, no one would call. We tell two little cop stories. I tell one about Jay Diggs, and every line is lit now.
There's a guy still on hold 30 minutes later, wants to guess why he got pulled over.
I wish that I had a cop story, but all girls have to do is
Line
cry.
2. Oh, he just hung up. He was on the line for 27 minutes.
You know what? Years ago, there'd be guys that would hang online, and I would say, "What are you hanging on for?" He goes, "Well, I'm incarcerated and I listen on hold."
Yeah.
A lot of guys used to do that. So maybe he was, incarcerated.
Well, Howard actually got a confession from a guy who was in jail for killing his girlfriend.
Yeah.
And the guy basically told the whole story on the air. What happened? He tripped. Him and the girl took some drugs, PCP or something. He had a fucking crazy trip.
But he was already in jail?
He was in jail, but they had no confession. They were going to go to trial and they didn't. And this guy basically said on the air, and he chopped her head off tripping on PCP and killed her. And they used that tape in the trial and convicted him.
Wow. Now that's a ratings getter.
Yeah. Right.
Really?
Yeah, they used it.
Why would the idiot do that?
Because he was a fan, and then he called in, and Howard started asking him questions, and he was just talking to Howard.
How much of a fan are you? Well, I confessed to murder and decapitation. Top that. Top
crazy. I remember that story. It was nuts.
Let's go to Sean of Oceanside, California. Yes, Sean, it's Jay Thomas with Shuley, and Christina's here, and Al's over there, and Garrett's over there, and all that.
Garrett's roadieing. He's going to be testing mics.
And the Zambonis will be here. We'll talk to a guy who believes in 106 minutes of sex. Yes, Sean of Oceanside, go ahead.
Okay, I think I can top Shuley.
I don't want to hear the top story.
There was twice I was pulled over on the side of the road with my girlfriend, and we were having sex, and the same cop, it was 2 months apart, pulled over, got me out of the car, talked to both of us, and then he gave me the same line both times. He said, "There's a prison around here, and just over these trees and bushes, they dump dead bodies." and he let us. I mean, luckily he let us go with warnings, but.
Oh, he meant that you might get killed.
No.
Yeah.
I thought he was.
Yeah.
But the first time I had her upside down in the passenger seat, completely naked, and luckily by the time they drove up the hill,
yeah,
she was able to get her clothes on and in the right position. But the second time, I was in the floorboard of the passenger seat, eating her out. But when the cop pulled up, she gets in the driver's seat. I end up in the passenger seat, and he comes on the driver's side and asks for her license, and I told him I was the one driving.
If I was the cop, I would have handed you a card for a realtor.
Can I
go,
ask
why don't you look into an apartment, you dumb fuck?
Yeah, is there not a room? Is there not somebody's house you could have gone to? It's so uncomfortable.
It is exciting banging out in public, though, like that.
Yeah. And then the third time, I was eating her out in my car, and I had 2 vibrators in the glove box.
Oh, stop it. Wait a minute.
Who are you?
Wait a second. Wait a minute.
Yeah.
This other time, she put a pocket pussy on the top of a car as if we were Starsky and Hutch going out on a call.
A motorcycle cop pulls up, and I've got 2 vibrators in her. All right.
She's in a Thai swing set.
What? What, Sean? What?
I had a bag of pot in the ashtray, and I was this guy was more of an asshole.
It's like Cheech and Chong.
The cop's like, what's vibrating in your car? It's not my weed, man.
All right. Thank you, Sean. In my neighborhood in New Orleans, there's the big park and all. People wish to park in this park all the time. And this guy I know is a cop, and he said he goes and he waits for him to start screwing.
Right.
And he comes over and he shines the light on the guy, and he goes, all right. And the guy turns around and goes, just a minute, man. He said, you do whatever you want to do with it, man. Just wait a minute. I swear to God.
I was banging this chick years ago in Chatsworth, California, up in the mountains back there, you know?
Oh, please.
And she told her parents we were going out for ice cream, right? And the first thing I did, I go up into this mountain. I had a pickup truck, and I had to open the driver door, and I got my legs hanging out. Her legs are hanging out. I'm going to town. All of a sudden I hear, and I look around. It's a fucking group of people on horses riding through a horse trail, and they got the best view. They're fucking 7-8 feet up. They're just looking down at my fucking naked Jew ass going deep.
Years ago, this is prior to my marriage, when you do stuff like this, we go to
now the phone lines are going to fill up with fucking calls.
We go to Charleston, South Carolina, and my wife wears this, I show my wife, my girlfriend, wears this gorgeous dress, and it's hot. I get dressed in a white suit. We go to this restaurant that's way out of the way. It's in the middle of the woods, and there's a river running by. We go in, there's no bar. So let's say the reservation was for 7:30. Sun is still up. They say, I'm sorry, but your reservation's not. I said, do you have a bar? And they go, no, we don't have a bar. But you're welcome to walk around the grounds, for 15 to 20 minutes or whatever. So we start walking around. It's really lovely, right? She's got that, the flowing dress on and everything else. And of course, we're doing all sorts of imbibements and, we're in love and all that. And so there's like an old log.
I think it says love, like sharing a huge fat line of fucking blow.
Yeah, there's an old log there.
Oh, hold your ankles, honey. Wheelbarrow.
So I start, maneuvering and stuff and everything else. And one thing leads to another. And she's over the log. And I'm behind her, heads down. And a guy paddles by.
Slowest.
He comes out of nowhere. But he comes really slowly paddling by, He paddles by. And I gave him a little wave. I got this beautiful suit on. Yeah. And she goes to well, who was that?
Yeah.
I said, I don't know.
We'll
never see him again.
I mentioned 2 of the people on the horses held up scorecards that one said 8.3.
Oh man. Alex, Long Island. It's Jay Thomas. Hello, Alex. Go ahead. Line 2, please. Yes, sir. Yeah.
Hey, this rapper Jay Diggs, he's got a crazy history. He did 10 years in prison for conspiracy to rob a bank.
Well, you have to do that, or you really, you
have no credibility.
I'm not kidding. They really think that is, that's a major thing for them. So now they arrested him or whatever. That's a stupid.
Other than that rapper Drake, everybody has a criminal past or something. This guy Drake was on MTV True Life. I'm a mixed kid. And he was from Toronto, and He had a bar mitzvah. He's the only guy who has like zero criminal record.
What about the guy from New Orleans? C. Murder.
Yeah.
Who's in jail for murder?
Who saw that coming?
Nobody.
Right?
So, Alex, are you a fan of Jay? Do we have any Jay Diggs? Do we have any?
No, I've been looking. I don't see any.
Yeah, we don't have any, Alex.
He's that good.
Alex, why don't we have any Jay Diggs?
I don't know. I got to send you some, man.
Yeah, please do. You're into it?
What's his hit? What's his hit song?
Oh, shit.
Oh,
you know
shit.
Who had a bigger
Shit
hit?
sounds about right.
Hold on now. You know who had a bigger hit, but he's dead now. I mean, is Matt Gray.
Your dick? What? Who?
Matt
Matt Gray used to run with Joe Diggs back in the day.
Oh,
yeah,
he was good.
We got you good there.
Let's.
You know what I'm glad? You know what I'm, Alex? I'm just glad you didn't call with a cop story topper.
Yeah.
Okay.
You ever?
No.
You ever bang a cop and get out of a ticket? Let's just combine it.
Well, actually, no. I tried to get a PBA first.
Really? I don't know.
Oh, yeah.
I don't
Gotta
know.
get that
Talking
ticket.
about bowling. I don't know what's going on.
All right. Thank you, Alex of Long Island.
Thanks, buddy.
Let's go to Zach. Yes, Zach, it's Jay Thomas. How are you? The Zambonis will be here in just a little while. Yes, go ahead, Zach. They're setting up now, Gary. Yeah. I actually want to hear them tune up and everything. I want to hear I want to get the entire feeling of the live music. Yes, Zach, go ahead.
Hi, are they gonna play songs?
No.
Make a request?
No, they're doing origami.
Wait a minute.
They're
You
doing
want to make a
origami
request? What's
Love Boat? What do you want to hear?
What song do you want to hear by the Zambonis?
Hockey Monkey. I don't think that the singer
Hockey
Monkey.
Oh, hockey.
So they're called the Zambonis, people. Hockey Monkey.
Is every song they sing a hockey kind of a song?
Well,
it is. Yes, it is.
Oh,
So their whole theme. I mean, that. By the way, that's pretty bold just to do hockey stuff. You know what I mean?
But like you said, like that one song sounded like the Monkees, but they're very eclectic. They're sort of like a nerdy rock, they might be giants, like they do all styles of music.
Now you're from California. I see that you're a 310. How do you know the Zambonis?
Well, specifically the song Hockey Monkey, and that was my key.
They've played at the Hockey All-Star game.
They have?
Yeah. They're huge in the hockey community,
I'm very
especially.
impressed. I'm very impressed.
They're on
with
hockey
myself
video
now.
games.
I'm very impressed with myself.
Yeah. Gee,
Let's everybody give them a round of applause.
You know what? Maybe in a few weeks, if we're still here, the Hebrews will come in and sing something for Shuli. Yeah, and he can rap in the background. Yeah. All right. Well, Zach, I'll try. They'll play Hockey Monkey. They're going to play a bunch of stuff this morning. All right.
Well, it's going to be about hockey.
I know it is. All right. Thank you, Zach. Thank you very much.
Know it all.
Thank you. Let's go to Ken of Florida. Yes, Ken, it's Jay Thomas. Go ahead.
Hi, Jay.
Yeah, man. How are you?
Hey, I got a great story that'll make these other people stop calling with the lame ones.
So this is it. You tell this story.
This is the topper of all toppers.
And it's done, right?
I promise you. It was topping. I'm asleep in my own car in the passenger seat. My buddy's driving. We get pulled over on I-95. I get woken up with a Glock to my head.
A Glock is on your temple.
Yeah. Cop wakes me up. He goes, "Do you know what you were doing? How fast you were doing?" I go, "No, sir."
Wait a minute. Wait,
he's in the passenger seat.
He woke you up and you weren't driving.
Right. And he's asking me the questions on why I think he pulled me over. I go, "Cop, the officer, I have no idea why you pulled me over." So he takes me out of the car.
Wait a minute. You're in the passenger seat.
Yeah.
Correct.
Why
Correct.
would the cop be asking you how fast the car
tells
was?
me his friend is gone.
That's kind of the point of the story.
All right.
Then he takes me out of the car, and puts me down on my knees, hands above my head. He's behind me, still with the Glock on my head.
Right.
And I can't answer his questions like, "Officer, you woke me up." I have no idea. Meanwhile, he never asked the driver for his license, and the driver stayed in the car. So, long story short, he,
Go ahead.
whenever I come up with whenever I have no idea, I can't answer him. He gets a call, a more important call on the radio. He goes, "Today's your lucky day." And he jumps in his car and he leaves. So I get back in the car and I look over to my buddy. I'm like, "What the hell were you doing?" And it was my car. He goes, "I was going about $130 the entire way from West Palm Beach back to Fort Lauderdale."
Okay, what I don't understand here is, but by the way, if I was near you right now, I would kill you, and in the state of Florida, I would get off, just like Zimmerman.
You can kill a kid over there, and get it.
I don't understand why he was questioning you when you weren't driving the car.
Neither did I.
Well, what about the driver? What did he say?
He never asked him to get out of the car, nor for his license or anything.
Was the cop dyslexic and he couldn't tell which side? British. He was a British policeman. All right.
I was completely baffled myself.
And they put a gun to your head and everything else. All right, that's Ken of Florida. Okay, look, I want you to all stop it. The stories are no good.
I think there's a good one out there.
No, there isn't.
I think you're cutting it a little short.
We have the guy that he's having sex with the girl twice, and then he threw another one in there with vibrators in her, and the glove compartment.
That one was great.
Well, I don't even know if that's true. We're done though.
She's choking me while I'm coming, right?
We're
next thing you know. I got a belt around my neck. Her foot's in the small of my back.
And my elbow's stuck in the cup holder.
Right. Turns out my foot was on the brake pedal, so that's how the cop caught us.
So I was about maybe 15 or 16, and I go with my mother's Buick Skylark.
Oh, yeah.
And Buick Skylark convertible.
And something was leaking from, I don't know what, the air conditioner or whatever. Something leaked onto the floor mat of the passenger side. Now, none of this is going to sound true, but it is. I get my little girlfriend, Cindy, and my buddy and I have been saying we need to start stepping up, our sexual stuff. We need to start getting into all sorts of stuff. So I'm maneuvering her. I've never done anything with her but make out. And I get her like in the air, and I try to do something to her with my tongue through her underwear. Her underwear's on. And when my tongue hits her taint or whatever through her underwear, she lurches forward and hits her head against the windshield and is out cold. She just lurches. Bam! And she's out. I mean, out cold. Awesome. So I roll her over, and I slap her to wake her up. I wake her up and slap her, and she's waking up, and the cop comes, and he shines the light into the car, and he says, pull your skirt down, young lady, like that. Now, I'm on my knees trying to wake her up and everything else. Pull your skirt down. He questions us and everything else, and he says, get out of here. Well, we don't talk all the way home. We drive home. I get home, and my mother and my brother are sitting watching some TV show, and my mother always did this. Did you have cake and cookies at the party? I could be like 35 years old. Did you have punch at the party? Right? I get in, and I start saying, yeah, we had punch. Meanwhile, my knees are dark with this oil, this goo. Right. And my brother, who did stuff like, hey, what's with your knees? I go, what? My mother goes, where were you kneeling down?
Oh, boy.
And my brother said, were you kneeling down in the passenger side of Mom's car? Oh, yeah. Because that's where the oil spilled or whatever. And I go, just shut up. Jeez. And my mother was going, why would you be kneeling down in the side of the car? I go, I don't know.
You start wiping your mouth.
I have no idea.
Do I have anything on me?
Yeah. When my bike got stolen, I went somewhere I wasn't supposed to go, and my bike is stolen. I walked like 9 miles home. I go in my room, and I just, so later I come out, I go, oh, my bike's gone from the driveway, right? My bike's gone. And my brother goes, oh, I wasn't there when I pulled in a little while ago. I go, idiot! Idiot! And as my father's beating me with the belt, I see my brother, looking, you gotta tell me if you're gonna tell a lie or something.
So we can be on the same page.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah.
A comic that I knew, hooked up with a chick after a show in the parking lot. And he was in the passenger seat, kneeling down, going to town, munching her out. And, didn't know that it was her Aunt Flo was visiting.
No.
Yeah, it was her time of the month. And he comes back into the bar because it's dark. He can't see anything.
No, please.
He just thinks
No,
he's excited.
stop. I don't want to hear it. No, I don't want to hear it.
He walks in and his buddies are like,
No.
"Who beat you up?"
No.
His buddies thought he got jumped outside.
Oh, that was always my biggest fear.
All right.
Ours too,
you know
sweetheart.
what? I got one more and it's done. My mom and her sisters are
This is the last one.
always had boyfriends. I mean,
ahead.
I'm talking about women
I got one more and then we'll
in their 70s. They're in their 60s or 70s.
Go ahead.
So I come home and there's a car parked under the tree out in front of my house in New Orleans, and the windows are all fogged up. And my aunt is in there with some guy. I mean, she's an old woman. She's in there with some guy, getting nailed by some guy. I come in, my mother's kneeling on the couch, looking out of the window, and I go, Mom, is that Aunt Elizabeth out there with some guy? She goes, oh my God, the neighbors are going to think it's me. And my Aunt Elizabeth is just getting rocked by some guy in like a Buick or something.
The J. Thomas Show. The only man who pissed off an entire sitcom cast.
Who wouldn't love to go to Hollywood?
Howard 101.
Shuley, Madison, and J. Thomas. The J. Thomas Show.
Howard 101.
Tonight, Satan lives.
Welcome. Another chance for me to suck your blood.
That's right. It's the Satan Hour. Welcome, everybody.
Bleh, look into my eyes.
I don't want to look at your eyes.
Bleh, look into my mouth. Bleh.
It's Dirk and Satan with you in the morning.
Let's welcome to the Jay Thomas Show with Shuley and Madison and Howard 101, Yisrael Campbell. Yisrael, thank you.
Thank you, Jay. Thank you.
YISREAL, Yisrael, Campbell.com. And you have a documentary that's out there called Circumcise Me. Is that the name of the?
Yes, it is, Jay. And it's now an off-Broadway show. We start performances Sunday, November 1st.
Circumcise me, circumcise me, circumcise me to die.
I love the number.
Now, Yisrael,
cut my schmeckle, cut my schmeckle.
Cut my schwanz in half, cut it in half, cut my schwanz in half.
Yisrael, I am not sanctioning the
behavior of your co-host.
The
Who
anti-Jewish
eats
behavior.
at a bris? Who eats at a bris?
Why is the rabbi at the bris always 900 years old?
Okay. Israel.
That's Jay.
Please welcome Rabbi Warren Jupiter.
Israel. You don't have to laugh. I don't think it's funny at all. Okay. I don't think it's funny at all. I think a religious man like you, come into our studios. The next thing you know, the derisive laughter begins. Now, I was, born and raised Catholic and all of that. And
As was I.
That's what I understand. And so you're born and raised Catholic in Philadelphia. Where did you go to high school? Give me the name of your high school.
I went to Archbishop John Carroll High School for boys.
I can't hear it. Oy. I don't like it.
And you were Yisrael Campbell at that high school?
No, I was Christopher Campbell.
So all of your friends from that Archbishop what school?
Archbishop John Carroll High School for boys.
Okay. If anyone in Philly is listening, and they went to Archbishop John Carroll with Chris Campbell, give us a call at 8884-102, no, wrong number, 888-STERN-101. The reason why I'm asking that is, do you think that when the kids who went to high school with you said, Chris was always a nut and looking for attention and he's the guy we most likely decided would try and become Jewish and get circumcised 3 times?
In the yearbook, I don't remember being voted most likely to be a Jew.
Right. Okay. That's it. Now here's the thing. What happened? I mean, forget that you're a Catholic. You've gone way far.
He's done like a 180,
yeah,
man.
Yeah,
Complete
big,
180.
huge. You were
He
Catholic.
chose the right way.
Whatever.
He went from Christopher to Israel.
Yeah.
Does
Does a light come on? What? I mean, I've tried I've watched a whole evening once, completely loaded of religious programs, and felt nothing, and tried to feel something. What caused your enlightenment? Your new enlightenment?
I should just note that 3 circumcisions is not a religious covenant. It's a fetish.
Well, how many have you had?
I've had 3. I was 1 at birth and then 2 more along the way. They're not called circumcisions at that point. They're called hatafat dam brits. When they say it in Hebrew in America, it's so you won't understand what they're talking about. Because they're talking about ritual bloodletting, not from your thumb.
Now, I have heard, guys I've known who decided to get circumcised for medical reasons, past being a baby. Supposedly one of the most painful things that a person beyond, babydom can get. How old were you when you got your second circumcision?
So I was 31, but really at that point it's just an X-Acto knife in the head of your penis.
Oh, come on.
Is that it?
No, come on.
Dude, I did that in art.
Oh, you know what? That's the end of this.
I did that in art class.
That's
you can say that on serious.
Sure.
No, you know what?
You can say X-Acto knife. Absolutely.
Now, so you're saying they just pricked a little blood out of your...
Yeah, it's ritual at that point.
Right.
Because there's nothing left to cut
I
off.
get what
you know
you're
what
saying.
I mean? Once you've been circumcised, you've been circumcised.
We were thinking that you were circumcised maybe in Appalachia.
You kept having more and more penis
And they had
cut
meat left on the sides. They left flaps or something.
You were my hero till 2 minutes ago.
So you're saying that it's ritual, and then the third time
It was ritual again, but it was because they were more serious, more orthodox. They didn't trust the liberal Jews that had done it the first time.
Wow.
But now
and you also make jokes. I mean, you've been a stand-up comic, you've been an actor and everything else. So you truly believe that you needed to go from Catholicism to Judaism, and you don't believe that somehow you were taught Christ died for our sins and he was a Jew.
You didn't buy that garbage, huh?
Here's my question. Was a light come on? What is that? How does that happen?
It started for me when I met a Jewish girl, and you can...
Yeah.
That's what happened.
And I read Exodus. I read the novel Exodus. It's a little crazy to sit here and say I read a two-bit piece of historical fiction and became an Orthodox Jew that lives in Jerusalem. But basically, that's what's happened. In fact, Sarah Palin was right. Literature can be dangerous.
See, that's so different for me. Like, my first Jewish girl I dated, what that taught me is I was dating a black chick right after that. And,
Aw,
yeah.
come on.
Is there a chance that you might join other religions before your life is over? Could you?
I think that I'm done. I really do.
We're a very
my
warm,
in-laws hope
welcoming
that I'm
religion.
done.
Now, your parents are still alive?
My father actually just passed away, but yes, my mother's still alive.
How does your mother feel about you were a Catholic? Was she a big Catholic?
She was actually in the convent for a while. For 1 year, she was in the convent. When she left the convent, she really left God. She hates that I'm this, she...
Say it. She hates that you're a Jew. Say it.
She hates that I'm a Jew, but she, more than being
But you're not just a Jew. You are the biggest Jew I've ever met.
Right.
You're a super Jew.
If I were in a saffron robe, she would hate that too. She just hates religious expression.
Okay. Gotcha. She's had enough.
Unlike so many Americans.
Do you go on stage wearing
black coat, black hat? Yes.
It's very warm.
I open, I say, is it warm in here, or is it just that I'm the only one dressed for Poland in the 17th century?
Nobody yells out, "Do Ring of Fire!" Nobody did that.
See, I when I see the
Johnny Cash
I have to tell you, and I mean this, you can be whatever you want to be. I think the outfits that people wear religiously cause a huge problem. One of the biggest problems in the world now, Muslims with the burqas and the whole thing. I think it causes big problems, and it forces people, and not that you're supposed to do this, but they look at you and it just almost forces them to discriminate against you. And the person you want to yell, wear some Bermuda shorts and a t-shirt. I don't need to see your religion this obvious,
But don't you in the middle of summer in New York City see halter pants and halter tops and sometimes think, I don't need to see your religion either?
Yeah. Absolutely.
You know what
I didn't say that
by religion
outfits.
you mean camel toe?
I mean like breasts falling out and
yeah, but I didn't say that. You went
Well, you
Listen,
can't ask these guys about
You know
breasts.
what?
They
You're
don't
doing
like
apples.
They like them
You're
whenever
doing
they
apples
find
and
them.
boobs.
I would go to that church or temple 7 days a week.
I think the one thing I provide
Temple
when I
of
walk
Tit.
down the street is the sense that there are cheap electronics around somewhere.
Yeah, that's a given.
I feel very comforted when I see the Hasidim because I'm looking for a diamond right now, so I just
right.
follow.
So you
I
just
follow
walk
the
behind.
beard. I
There's
follow
3
the
people
beard.
in the lobby waiting for me to come out and sell them diamonds.
See, you're very pleasant.
Do you
but
have
when
any
I'm
on you?
when I walk by Orthodox Jews in Los Angeles or in New York, they don't say hello.
Right.
They're not pleasant.
Right.
You're stereotyping, Jay.
I'm not stereotyping. I am not.
That's because you're
I'll
a
tell you what.
crusader. You're an inquisitor. You're there to kill
You
them.
go on 47th Street where all of these guys are dressed in the Orthodox
I was there
outfit.
yesterday. They attack.
They don't tip their hat and say, "Good afternoon, Gentile."
It's not Deadwood.
You go into, you drive into.
No, you're absolutely right.
You go to
Good
Jackson,
afternoon,
Mississippi.
Gentile.
You go in front of the biggest Baptist church in Jackson, Mississippi. And I defy you to find a black or a white person walking in that vicinity that doesn't say, "Hello, how are you today?"
That's true.
Nice to meet you.
Well, the South, they're friendly.
No, it's also a religious. We're taught that you reach out to men and women and you bring them into the fold. That's not what the Orthodox Jews are about.
So a black guy and a Hasidic guy walking through South Boston, the Catholic boys would say, "Good morning, gentlemen. How are you this morning? Let's share our cultures."
Or,
at the end of our fists.
Black guy.
Yeah.
Well, you take everything, don't you, and you just twist it. You big Jews.
I think
black guy.
if you're comparing Orthodox to Hasidim, that's completely different because Hasidim, they really don't say hello to
it's
anybody.
not inclusive, and that's I
But
think
Orthodox,
the biggest
that's
problem I
different
have.
because this gentleman here is Orthodox. He's not Hasidim.
What about
You're
this
a happy Orthodox. I mean, you're like a funny guy. And the play is called Circumcise Me.
Yes, it is. Thank you.
And it's a one man.
It's a one-man show. We're playing at the Bleecker Street Theater.
So I can't audition?
And do you have a book out or something?
I don't have a book.
But the documentary
I'm
Circumcise
told
Me.
that the Jews control the media, so I'm hoping to have a book soon.
Do you have a picture of the knife going into the tip of your penis and the blood spurting?
No, I don't. Though when my son was circumcised in Jerusalem, as we left, the mohel gave me his business card with the blade taped to the business card. Nice. So I have DNA of my son should I need it at any time.
What's the high school you went to in Philadelphia?
Archbishop John Carroll High School for boys.
Let's go to Ed of Philadelphia. Ed, did you go to Archbishop John Carroll High School?
Hey, Jay, how are you today?
Good. Did you go to Archbishop John Carroll High?
I did. It's in Radnor, actually. It's not in Philly. And I went from 76 to 80. What year did he go to school?
I went from 77 to 81.
Oh, really? My name's Ed Field. How you doing? What elementary school did you go to?
I went to Ardmore Junior High School.
I thought you went to Archbishop Warren Jupiter.
Now, Ed, do you remember anybody talking about crazy Chris Campbell? Back
No, I don't know him at all. I played football for him. We won the city championship in '76.
So you just called to brag about that shit, right? Okay, we see how you are.
Yisrael, did you ever go to a football game? Did you ever go to a football game? Or
While I was there, our hockey team was undefeated, and we often went to the games because we knew the outcome before the game started.
That's
Football
what you Jews
was-
like,
yeah.
don't you? You like to know the outcome,
stop
don't you? You like to know the outcome. Ed, I'm so
It
sorry.
was easier to bet when we knew we were
Hey,
going to
Jay,
win.
I just wanted to say, Jay, I love your show. I drive a tractor trailer, and I'm glad they started rebroadcasting you overnight. I was sorry when they stopped doing that about a year ago. I think
You know
your
what's
show's
funny?
terrific.
I don't know when they do it,
either.
but they did it, then they stopped it, and now they're doing it again.
Do they
I think
replay
you're-
this precise
You know what,
show? that
Sean?
Howard-
Give Ed my home number. And Lou Dobbs' home number, if you don't mind.
And Geraldo's
And
home
Ed, I tell you what, if I'm not on, just call me at the house and I'll do shit for you on the phone while you're driving.
I believe you would. Jay, good show. Have a nice
Thank
day.
you so much. Who is that from Long Island on line 4 right there? I'm missing his name. Hey,
Jeff.
Jeff in Long Island, the Jay Thomas Show. Jeff, are you Jewish?
No, I'm not Jewish. Can I ask you guys a question? Is this kind of Judaism, whatever? Does this guy have curls? Is one of
You
these
got
guys?
the curls in the whole thing, do you, Israel?
Yeah, I do, but for me, it's really more of a comb over.
Oh,
Let me ask you another question, because when I'm down by the Intrepid sometimes, I see these guys with the curls with hookers. Are you one of those guys?
He says he sees, and let me tell you something, Israel. When I lived at 44th Street between 1st and 2nd, I would see, I don't know what they were, Hasidim or whatever, and they would be picking up girls on the street, and yet they would be going back home and being very religious.
Oh, yeah.
And that's another crazy thing. If you wear this outfit, you should never do anything.
Right.
I mean, in public.
Well, I
right?
think it
Thanks,
proves
Jeff.
that
That's
all
good.
men are sleaze. It doesn't really matter if they're
Right, no matter what they
the
wear.
Hasidim
Really?
cheat just like anybody else.
Well, she's not bitter. All right.
I'm not bitter at
is
all.
there
I'm
much
just
adultery?
saying.
There's not.
I mean, there is a lot.
That's not-
There's rampant cheating in the
Right.
There
Hasidic
is?
community. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
domestic abuse.
It's like the
issues. There's
mafia.
lots of stuff
It's like the
going on.
mafia. They have gumads on the side, you know?
Yeah.
Well, the other thing is, do you ever worry about inbreeding? Because everybody kind of stays in the same DNA pool.
Well,
you know what I mean?
since I'm bringing in Irish Catholic genes from suburban Philadelphia, I'm
You'll
not
never
really...
be accepted, will you? Truly be accepted by
you?
like a Shuli Jew. No, Shuli's a real
Please,
Jew.
me? He's got nothing to
Shuli's
worry about.
family goes all the way back to Abraham when he was banging the maid.
Maybe you heard of us? We're kind of a big deal.
Yisrael Campbell is here. Go to Yisrael with a Y.
Israel.
Thank you, Shuli.
IsraelCampbell.com, and the documentary is called Circumcised. He's been circumcised 3 times. Started as a Catholic, and do you plan on joining any other religions? That's over for you. You're done.
It's
with
over
that. Can
for
you
me.
go any deeper? You're like a 12th degree black belt in Judaism.
Hare Krishna.
Is there anything deeper that you can do?
I'm thinking someday to join the Kabbalah Center and spend some time with Madonna, but
Great.
until now, I have not done that.
Yes.
Okay.
My aunt, though, is a nun, Jay, which makes Jesus my uncle.
Oh, wait, you've got an aunt that's a nun, and you're the nutcase convert
I love
to
it.
deep Judaism.
Do you like
Yes.
her? Do you get along with her?
Yeah. When I told her that she's very old, and when I told her that I was converting to Judaism, she said, "Judo? You mean hitting each other?" I said, "No, Judaism, arguing with each other."
Now, Israel, can I be truly honest and psychological?
Yes.
I don't know if you know this or not, but I have a PhD in psychology.
No,
and
he doesn't.
I'm going to just say this.
Please do.
You've said that your mother was a nun. Was your father very religious as a Catholic? Did he believe in the Catholic Church? Did he have some sort of background that...
No, he went to Catholic school through college, as most people his age did in those days. But then he went to church on Sunday morning until he started playing tennis, till he got a good tennis time on Sunday morning. And
then you have an aunt that's a nun. You have an aunt that's a nun. Then you grow up to be, and are you a rabbi now? Are you trying to be a rabbi?
I'm not.
But you're very religious.
Yeah.
You've got the kind of sick religious gene in your family. Now you've moved it to the Judaism, but you ever think that you're predisposed to do something religiously kooky? I mean it.
I hear you, and I see.
If I
that
was
your
sitting across from
doctorate
you
is
right
well
now, I would be leaning into you, holding your hands and saying this.
Yeah, I know.
And then giving you a tissue.
Thank
give you a tissue. So do you ever think that there are just certain people that are predisposed to these acts, these unusual acts?
You've got a point, Doctor, and I feel that I will continue to examine this vein of thinking that you've discovered in me. It's possible, but it's been a really exciting life. And
you're saying like an alcoholic, Gene Jay, that your parents are alcoholics, so you're gonna end up drinking at some point or doing drugs. So because there was so much religion in this family.
No, not religion. They
Kooky
made
religion.
Yeah,
well,
like I don't have an aunt.
Definitive choices.
My mother had 5 brothers and 5 sisters. Nobody's a priest. Nobody is a nun. So we weren't especially religious. I mean, we were Catholics in name only, right? My dad was raised Methodist. He converted to Judaism to Catholicism because he liked to drink with a priest. I swear to God. And that was that. So I don't have that in me. But now you got a nun, aunt. Your mother had been a nun, and then you go in the whole other direction. Or you're trying to punish your parents.
No,
just your version of a tattoo and body piercing.
Right.
That's right.
That's
That's yeah.
the less painful version of a tattoo.
Or Madison, who may actually soon bring an American Indian home to her family, because the Jews have no word for American Indian. They have
Not
just
yet,
black
anyway.
people.
They'll call him Snow.
They don't know what to call it. Right. So these are the questions. Okay.
It's entirely possible, but I don't think it's good radio.
You know something? I'm going to tell you something right now, you crazy Jew bastard.
Oh!
Don't you
Israel
come
in
here
the
and
house.
tell me what's good.
No,
You know what
I
else?
meant from my side, Jay. You're a professional. I'm not
You
in
wanna hear
any way
something else?
impinging your reputation.
I don't like it when a guest comes in here and tells the truth directly to me.
And they're entertaining and funny.
And they're entertaining and funny. All right.
It's not cool.
All right, well, listen, stay where you are. Israel, circumcise me. Do you
Israel.
think any Gentiles are going to be
Israel.
interested in going to the, or seeing the documentary or going to the play, or is it just packed with Jews opening candy?
What did he say? Huh? What did he say?
Louder!
Did he just say penis?
That is very
The
true
most
because it's true. 'Cause
circumcised man I've ever had on my show. I've been doing this for 30 years.
Yeah.
Yisrael Campbell is on the way. Madison
he's
is
here.
here.
He's here.
I mean, not on the way. He's coming back. Yisrael Campbell is here.
Right.
I can't get my legs unlocked after hearing a knife was stuck in to the head of the penis. That scares me to death.
When I showed up for the second circumcision, Jay, the nurse told me to wash my penis for 3 minutes.
Okay.
I don't think I've ever washed my penis for 3 minutes.
Why not?
After 3 minutes, I'm not washing anymore, Madison.
That's true.
Actually, after 3 minutes, I'm done.
Yeah, you've made more of a mess than when you came in there.
If I washed my penis for 3 minutes, it would look like a thermos bottle, so, all right.
You don't want a clean penis?
Not that clean. If you're not circumcised, the skin that's over there, you really have to clean that skin. I'm not joking. Because it gets smegma in there, doesn't
Yeah.
it? It starts to stink.
All right.
I was born in a Catholic hospital when I was circumcised. Weren't you, Jay?
I was circumcised, but I'll tell you something.
It was that time.
We got to go away and come back. But I have a middle son, and I believe that he was traumatized by his circumcision. I believe not only could he feel it, which everybody could, but I believe it scarred him emotionally for his entire life.
You don't think it's the years and years and years of his father being on television and radio and talking about him and saying the things that you've said? Dr. Thomas?
Hey.
You know what? You may have your whole dick cut off before this show is over. All right. And I'll give you my card with the knife I used. All right. Stay where you are. The most circumcised man ever in the history of the Jay Thomas Show is coming back.
He says what he wants and how he wants it all the time.
It's the weirdest and the wildest.
Jay Thomas Show. Horrible.
Big Halloween show. We have a guy in the studio dressed as an Orthodox Jew today. Israel Campbell is here. Go to IsraelCampbell.com. Robert Englund will be here. You know him as Freddy Krueger. He has a book, Hollywood Monster, coming up. Maybe, hey, stick around. Maybe he'll stick you in the penis with one of those big, long fingernails of his. Yeah. Now, what theater are you at there in New York, Israel?
I'm at the Bleecker Street Theater, 45 Bleecker.
Sean, we've had other folks on from the Bleecker, haven't we?
Yes, Jay, the puppetry of the penis people.
Oh, yeah.
It's interesting to run a show called The Puppetry of the Penis and circumcise me in rep.
Did they precede you into
They
the
did.
theater?
We cut them out.
Sean, who's coming in after
one,
Israel?
good
Do you know
one,
who's
good
coming in?
After Israel, it's the Warren Jupiter show.
Warren Jupiter show's coming in there.
Israel.
So here's my the circumcision thing. Okay, you got the regular one. They rolled the meat back and then they stabbed you twice to make you even more of a Jew. And that's interesting. And the documentary has circumcised me. Here's the thing. While we were gone, you Jews were all in there talking, and it's all about. You mentioned nothing but holidays, and you wear the outfit, and it's all about religion and religion and religion and this and that and the other. And then you don't even really believe in an afterlife like Christians do or Muslims or
Is
whatever.
that true? I don't remember. I don't remember
I don't
from
know.
Hebrew school what we're supposed to believe.
There's not a lot of afterlife. What I don't get is seems like such a boring existence that you have to wake up, God, and this and eat and the boom and boom.
Wait, I thought it was God, hookers on First Avenue.
No, not that.
God.
But I'm saying it's to be dedicated to an imaginary thing, and then it's not even there's no payoff for you. What is the payoff to this Orthodox Judaism?
Each day there's a time of peace where I find no. I mean, I think the payoff is it's not. I'm not so good with people, and this helps me get along with people better.
So that's the reason.
Yeah, trying to get along.
Were you a
with
drug addict as a kid?
Yeah, it sounds cliche, but actually I was.
There you go.
What was
there you go, Dr.
Thank you.
What was
Thank
your
you.
poison? What did you like?
What LSD did you drop when you decided to be an Orthodox Jew?
in Jerusalem.
I'm going to say weed because he looks like the zigzag
yeah,
man.
He smoked a lot of weed back in the days when it was ounces and dime bags and
when they called it reefer.
Right,
No, but
Quaaludes. I liked Quaaludes.
No, so
they
you
helped
were
me get through the school day.
Hey, I'd go to his temple.
Right.
Down with
and
that.
you were married
Temple
before?
of 714. 613, 714, whatever.
Before you married the Jewish woman?
I married an Egyptian, Jay, right after the first conversion.
You do a 180 in everything in life.
I married
you know
an
that?
Egyptian.
No, you didn't.
Her father asked me to convert to Islam, and I said if I belong to all three major religions in one calendar year, people are going to doubt my sincerity.
It's like having a show on CBS, ABC, NBC all at the same time.
I brought my Egyptian wife to a Passover Seder.
Oh, God.
No, you didn't.
Yeah, I
Were
did.
you really married to an
We talked
Egyptian?
about the plagues that, affected the Egyptians, the boils, the frogs,
Dams,
the insects.
Fardea.
Right.
Yeah. When you got to the Seder, did you go, I found one, let's get her?
Now, do you joke about the bombings and everything over in Middle East?
I do. I mean, I lost two very close friends in the bombing at the Hebrew University in the summer of 2002. I talk about that, but I have a joke in my set where about 3.5 years ago, the IDF killed a master Hamas bomb maker. That's how they described him. The guy had one arm and no legs. I'm going to say he wasn't a master bomb maker. Well, I'm going to say he was a mildly proficient bomb maker at best.
If he made anything, that guy should have been on America's Got Talent. I'll tell you that.
That's right.
But my question is, if you show up for master bomb making class and the teacher has one arm and no legs, can you defer till next semester?
Maybe that. Oh, he's good. Look at that. He's a stump. That guy knows what he's doing.
When you guys were stealing Israel from the Arabs, and they were pretending that that it was in the Bible that you're supposed to get this land and all of this nonsense, and of course we followed a star until we found our savior and all that crap. Didn't the Israelis blow people up too and bomb stuff and do all the same things?
As the story goes, we always called ahead and said we're about to blow up the hotel.
Oh,
exactly.
How polite.
Didn't you
How
see
polite.
Exodus?
Yeah.
Didn't you see when Paul Newman called and said, clear the King David, we're going to blow it
See,
up?
that's what we do.
But
We
the
get rid
British
of all
and the
women
Arabs
and
wouldn't
children.
even listen to us.
No, they didn't want to hear a thing.
We wanted to not blow them up.
By the
but
way,
we had to.
You illegal immigrants, call Lou Dobbs before you shoot next time, okay?
No.
Give him a call. Yeah.
No,
Chris.
No one had the phone number for the King David Hotel back then.
Right.
Chris of Virginia, the Jay Thomas Show. Yisrael Campbell is here in studio. Go to YisraelCampbell.com. The documentary is Circumcise Me. Yes, Chris of Virginia.
Hey, Jay, I appreciate your show on Fridays, man. It's good to hear something live on Fridays, but...
You mean that's the only thing you appreciate, that it's live?
Well, yeah, no, I mean, you're doing a good job. I like Shuli. I saw him in concert, and I appreciate the show, man.
Oh, thank you, buddy.
Thank you.
But, I wanted to know if
That would be like your wife coming in and going,
Why
you know,
you have a Jew on the show?
You know why I appreciate you? Why, honey? Because you're alive.
I appreciate the show, Jay. Can we turn the Jew down a little bit today?
We're throwing him out in a couple of minutes. Go ahead, Chris.
All right, yeah, I just wanted to know if I was to convert to Judaism, how long before I become wealthy? Is that like an overnight thing, or?
Checks start about 30 days later, though.
Now that is a great question. But you know what? What is the deal with Jews and money? Why look? What is the deal there?
Not all
Everybody
Jews have
thinks
money.
it. I know, but everybody thinks it. So Israel, how would you stop that? How would you stop Chris and me from believing that the Jews have all the money and control?
Shuli has no money.
Thank you.
No, but I want to get Israel do it. Why don't you dedicate yourself to that? How would you do that?
I would live the life of poverty that I'm already living.
So you're not rich.
I'm not rich in that way, no.
Right.
The Jews they're talking about are
I'm
Rupert Murdoch.
spiritually rich.
That's you.
Right.
Hey, Chris of Virginia, have you ever met a Jewish person?
Yes, a couple.
Where did you meet them?
I work with a guy that's Jewish.
Do you ever have him at your home? You ever bring him over to your home?
Does he do half the work?
No, I haven't. But I mean, he's the boss, so he's the owner.
The big Jew owner. I go. Who's the other Jew?
Work for
who hasn't gotten a raise in a while? How about it?
The owner? Is the other Jew you've met his son?
No.
Yeah.
All right. So there you go.
The third Jew is hanging on a cross at his church on Sunday morning.
Chris of Virginia. Chris, are you circumcised?
Yeah, I'm circumcised.
All right, good. Well,
is
Chris,
that on
thank
YouTube?
You. Chris knows the two Jews that own his company. Thank you.
Rickles.
Thank you very much. Have a good.
All right, thanks a lot.
Rickles on his album meets a young Jewish couple that just got married, and he asks the husband. He says, "So what kind of work are you going to be out of when her father dies?"
That's good. I like that.
Dan of Arizona, the Jay Thomas Show, 888-STERN-101. Yisrael Campbell is here. Yes, Dan, go ahead. Yisrael.
Hey, how the hell are you? Hey,
good, Dan.
Where the fuck do you find some of your guests, man? This is like a real live version of the Jack and Rod show.
I don't know. You know what? They're offered to me, and I consider them for a day or two, and then I just press yes on a panel. That's all.
Stole some content from Sal and Richard. But my question is for this guy who seems to be an authority on circumcisions. How do they know how much to cut off? Is there like a mathematical formula?
Well, I have to tell you, that is a hell of a. Yeah, do they roll the skin back? How does it work? Do you know?
Is it like girth divided by length equals X? I mean,
That's a lot of math for Arizona, isn't it?
Yeah, I mean, you're not a moil, but would you know Israel?
How much do they take?
Well, when Asians,
what did the Old Testament say about how much meat to cut off?
When Asians do circumcisions, they use math, but the Jews don't.
Right. Go ahead, Yisrael. What is it?
No, that's a good question. I don't.
You don't know the answer.
I've never given a circumcision. I've only received that.
Maybe that's next for you.
Right.
Is it true that in the Old Testament Jezebel
the show
gave
doesn't
them
work out
and used her teeth? Remember Jezebel? She would.
I think only in the movie.
Eve. All right. Well, thank you so much, Yisrael Campbell. Thank you, Dan. And go to YisraelCampbell.com and go see his documentary, Circumcise Me. All right. Any statement you'd like to make before you leave the building?
No, it's been a really fun Friday morning. Thank you, Jay, for having me on the show, and Julie and Madison. Thank you.
Have a wonderful Shabbos.
Good Shabbos. Good Shabbos, everybody.
Good Shabbos.
Shabbos.
Shalom.
Hey, you know what? And a Shabbos Regal to you, too.
Jay Thomas.
The subject is show is terrible. Hey, Dave.
That's Jay Thomas, the host.
He's the idol of every man.
He says what he wants and how he wants it all the time.
It's the weirdest and the wildest.
Jay Thomas Show. Horrible.
Oh, that's so good.
Could Howard sound more bored? That's Jay Thomas, the host. Huh?
I think you caught him on an off day.
Really? You can't even, feel a smile on his voice, when you learn broadcasting, as I did at the Connecticut School of Broadcasting, if you talk like this, there's no smile. But then if you talk like that, there's a smile on your voice.
As opposed to Letterman's great intro. They're funnier, man, than...
And no one ever claps.
Nothing.
That's the most embarrassing part.
The best was the last
they
time
look
you
at
went
each
on.
other going, who, what?
The last time you were on, and you called everyone in the audience assholes.
Yeah, the
That
idiots.
was the greatest thing ever.
Is there a funnier man in America? I think he does it as a joke.
Yeah, he's putting you down.
Yeah, exactly.
He is.
For about 10, 12 years, I thought it was a compliment.
No, guy's shitting on you.
Idiot. You know what? I got the wrong thing. I almost was going to ask the woman from the marijuana university the Uncle Cracker questions. That would have not gone well.
Sure.
Dale Sky Claire, it is 5:20 in the morning in California. Thanks for getting up so early for the Jay Thomas Show with my friend Shuli. Thank you.
Oh, indeed. Thanks for having me. Good morning.
Morning, Dale.
Now, have you, now you are the executive chancellor of the Oaksterdam University. Shuli wears one of your T-shirts.
Oh, fantastic.
I'm a proud supporter, and pleasure speaking to you. How was the wake and bake session for you this morning?
It was all I could do to wake, never mind bake, if you wanted me coherent this morning.
Now there you go. You're right off the bat. Here's the deal. If you run the university and it's about the cannabis and how to grow it and everything else, but the thing is, it's the thing that you smoke. It's not when you have a cocktail. You have a cocktail and you can, go about your business. Or if you do cocaine, there's a spring in your step, If you do pot, you ought to just be relaxing after that. What I don't get about it is, and I smoke myself, but I wouldn't do it to get up and go to work. It doesn't, is there a wake up part of cannabis? Is there anything in it? Could you start mixing it at a later date so it doesn't just make you stoned? Is there a way you guys at the university can mix it?
Well, as a matter of fact, it's not just us. There are many amazing horticulturists that have discovered there's two different things you have to be aware of. There are different strains of cannabis, and cannabis affects everyone differently. So if you're sick, if you have cyclic vomiting syndrome and you can't get off the toilet in the morning because you can't stop throwing up, cannabis doesn't make you high. It just simply makes you normal so that you can get off the toilet, go cook breakfast, take your kids to school.
That's what it's all about?
It's normal people that get high. So
you're just doing it for people that can't get off the toilet in the morning? That's what y'all are dedicated to?
Well, this is how it all began, is the very first people that should have access to this would be as medicine. If we're going to treat cannabis recreationally as something, even though it's safer than alcohol, we treat it as though it's worse. At the very least, folks should be able to use it as medicine. So that is how it all began, yeah.
You know what? I mean, the reality is that many more people want to use it as happy medicine rather than a cancer or a treatment for someone that can't eat. But you have to pretend that it's a medicinal thing.
And when I'm puking or if I have the shits, the last thing I'm thinking of is, man, a joint would be awesome right now.
Yeah.
But that's me. Like she said, everybody's different.
Do you walk around, can you smoke at the Oaksterdam University?
Well, we have designated areas to medicate, but we do not allow tobacco.
That's good. I didn't mean tobacco. So when you guys smoke a joint, you say, we're going to medicate.
Well, indeed. Anyone that's in California that is smoking legally is a qualified patient. And, you brought up a good point as far as why people most often use cannabis.
You don't say pot.
Frankly,
you never say pot or marijuana.
Not true.
You
do
say pot? Okay.
I'll say pot. I don't like using marijuana specifically just because the word is actually a racial epithet used years ago to try to scare
does marijuana mean black person in some language that we don't know?
Actually, it was first used around 1908 to describe those crazy, lazy Mexicans and those crazy jazz musicians.
Marijuana, that's what it means, crazy, lazy Mexican?
It refers to the crazy devil weed, and it was used racially to try to scare people, like, watch your daughters because they're going to go lay down with people of color to get the crazy weed. And
Have you ever slept with a Mexican guy?
You ever slept with marijuana?
Yeah. So marijuana, what does it mean if you were to the translation of it? What does it mean?
Well, the actual plant is cannabis. There's two main forms, cannabis and hemp, that everyone knows. Cannabis is psychoactive. Hemp is not. Hemp is used for clothing and fiber. Unfortunately, hemp is illegal just like cannabis, even though it won't make you high.
Now, wait a minute now. I live in Santa Barbara, California most of the year. There's a big hemp store right in the middle, right on State Street. You're telling me...
Isn't it unfortunate that our farmers can't grow it and our producers can't manufacture it?
You can't grow hemp and make a shirt out of it? Come on.
We have to import it. And this is part of what tax cannabis is all about. We're trying to control and tax not just cannabis but also hemp so that our Central Valley farmers can finally grow one of the most valuable cash crops.
Well, wait a minute now. What is the difference between hemp and cannabis?
They're both the same root species. However, hemp is a non-psychoactive plant. It has less than 1% THC. So you can smoke until the day is long and all it's going to do is give you a headache. It won't ever make you high. It is, however, it's kind of like the poor man's plant. It makes paper at the rate of 1 to 4 acres. So 1 acre of hemp in 1 year can produce as much paper pulp as 4 acres of 20-year-old growth trees.
Now, how do you do all this and you're completely stoned while you're talking to us right now? I don't understand.
Yeah,
She's
like
got-
when you're high and
Yeah.
you say paper pulp, everyone should start laughing.
Yeah, I mean, when you sign up for the Oaksterdam University, by the way, OAK, like, oak, and of course, it comes from a derivation of Amsterdam. Go to oaksterdamuniversity.com. What's the tuition?
Well, we have two different ways to join as a student. You can come for the weekend classes, which is great for out-of-towners or folks that just have busy schedules. It's $250 for the entire weekend. And
How
that
much
includes,
weed do I get for that?
we don't dispense.
Can you get a PhD?
You'll have to go down the street for that.
A pothead PhD, pothead doctorate. PhD.
Actually, you do receive certificates of completion if you pass your
All
final,
night I
but you
worked
got to
on
take
that
the test, brother.
Now wait, when you say, and it's only for the weekend you go to college?
Well, that's one option. We have
my
weekend
kind of
courses,
college. Yeah.
so you can take 2 courses over 2 weekends to get the full basic and advanced package, or you can come as a semester student, and that's either between 10 and 13 weeks depending on your subject. We have horticulture semesters, and then we also have semesters that cover all of the basics.
And you walk into a room and there are cannabis plants in the room when you walk into your classroom.
If you walk into the lab in Oakland,
Yeah.
we do have a display lab for the students to learn from. In other campuses, we have what we refer to as a show and tell. We don't grow on campus. We just bring the plants in for class, and then they leave again. They belong to a patient.
Now, how long do you have to dry the leaves? Now, do you know how to make a pot, God forbid cannabis, do you know how to make medicinal cannabis, Shirley? Do you know the process?
Yeah, you do it like regular cannabis, but you have a lab coat on.
That's it. Same thing. No, but do you know how to do it? I mean, you don't just cut it off the vine and you start smoking it through
No,
green.
right. You got.
Well, I wouldn't recommend it.
No, but how do you?
But I would recommend
Do you have to age it like tobacco? You have to dry it out somewhere.
It's called curing. Yes.
You cure it. How long do you have to cure a marijuana leaf? I mean, a
on
cannabis
average,
leaf.
You're looking between 2 to 3 weeks to 2 to 3 months on average, depending.
Now, how would you make it stronger, or how would you gauge the
THC.
the strength? Well, yeah, but what do? Are there certain seeds that you brought in? It's like wine from Europe. They
Well,
brought
I think a big factor in
vines,
it is
right?
how it's grown, like where it's
Yeah,
grown.
it's nature and nurture. A lot of it does have to do with genetics, and this is where you get into the wacky stuff, because they talk about how pot has gotten so much stronger, and the fact is they tested Mexican ditchweed 30 years ago, and they're testing the good stuff today, and they're comparing apples to oranges. We still have Mexican dirtweed today, and if you go test that, it's the same as the Mexican dirtweed 30 years ago.
Now, I hear the best is, and for years has been coming out of Vancouver.
I'll disagree. I think California has the best crop. For a while, BC was popular, but you got to realize that BC keeps the best for themselves. What trickles down to the U.S. isn't necessarily the best. California growers these days, especially because they've acclimated to their environment, really do a fine job. And, we can't discard the fact, so you don't have cancer, you don't have AIDS, you're not dying of something. You talk about just wanting to have a good mellow night or go to sleep. They talk about that as being a dangerous side effect, but how many pills a year do we take to fall asleep and feel good?
Oh, no,
it's crazy.
Ira the weatherman is here. How many pills?
1,000 pills.
You would take 1,000 pills a week instead of one joint. Is that right?
That is right.
All right. Ira the weatherman, I want you to meet Dale Sky Clare from Oaksterdam University, and she teaches people about the cannabis industry. Do you know what cannabis is, Ira the weatherman?
No, I don't.
It was called marijuana, but that was an insult to sleeping Mexicans. So that's what you said earlier, isn't it?
There's one derivative. It's a
Well, I'm just
racial
going
slur
over
here,
my
but
notes here, what I heard earlier. That's all.
It's to refer. They used to say things like,
I don't like to be
it'd make
laughed
Go
a-
back to
Wait
your
a
own
second.
country, you dirty marijuana.
I don't like to be laughed at in the middle of an interview after I've used the exact wording that you used.
Oh, you're doing a fine job.
Okay, thank you. So, Ira the weatherman, it's marijuana. Have you ever smoked marijuana?
Never.
Never. You and
never.
Shuli have never gone on a roof somewhere and had a little marijuana.
No, we never had it. Not that I know.
Not that you know of. After you smoked a cigarette with him, did you feel kind of relaxed?
Yes. You feel calm after that.
Yeah,
There you go. What do
Ira's
you have,
like
son?
a puppy. I just blew it in his ear.
And he likes it.
Now, a hit right in his ear.
Now, you're a lovely woman, Dale Sky Claire. I mean, really, really lovely. And the picture I'm looking at, it looks like you're outside of a kickboxing academy. Is that?
Oh, my goodness. You found that one.
We found it. Yeah, you little devil. Now, here's the thing. When you were a little girl and you were, going to high school and did you go to normal college, normal university?
I did. And, you cracked me up. You went to CSB. My mother used to teach at CSB.
Really?
She was in radio in Florida for 25 years.
Is that right? The Connecticut School of Broadcasting?
Yeah, Sonny Quinn down in South Florida.
Sonny Quinn was your mom?
Is still.
What kind of music?
I've got something crazy to say to you right now.
Oh, do tell.
I slept with your mother. Remember
what
that?
Kind of music?
Remember I told you about sleeping with a woman named Sonny? Remember that? Yeah, everybody here. Would you tell your mom I still think about her all the time?
I will, and I'll hope my dad's not listening.
You could be my daughter.
Oh, dear.
I'm looking at a picture of you right now. Surely, any resemblance?
Do I look like your redheaded
Well, she gave me a scholarship. I'll just tell you that much.
Nice.
Yeah.
And what'd you give her?
What kind of station?
A whole lot of guff, it sounds like.
Yeah.
What kind of station did your mother work at?
No, a school.
Well, she did. She was on the air for 25 years.
What station?
She had a morning show on ZZR, and then she also was Sunny 104.3 for the last...
Her name was Sunny, and she worked at a station that was called Sunny 104.
Yeah, can you believe it?
Did she do the wake-up show? Good morning, it's me, Sunny.
Good morning, Sunny with Sunny.
Now, how do your parents feel about you now teaching at the cannabis industry school, Oaksterdam University?
Well, it's remarkable. I rebelled by going conservative for the last, 15 years.
You mean you were right-wing? You were like a Dennis Miller type person?
I went corporate. I did. Mm-hmm. And I'm circling back around. I guess the apple rolled back into the tree.
You
my
were
mom
straight, and now you're into the cannabis thing.
You know what's beautiful is corporate America taught me all the best practices to turn around and work with corporate America.
Now, it is against the law. It is against federal law to smoke pot and to grow it and to sell it.
Correct.
But in the state of California, they've made it legal. Here's the question. Does the state law override the federal law? And do you ever fear that the FBI will bust your door down and come in and confiscate all the marijuana?
Well, it's an excellent question and a tricky one. We have what's called dual jurisdiction, meaning that both badges, both federal and state, have jurisdiction in California. State officials, state law enforcement, there's nothing that requires them to enforce federal law or enact federal law. Mm-hmm. So as long as we're not in direct conflict with federal law, meaning we're requiring the state to grow the pot, there is no conflict. And the badges in California need not harass anyone for using cannabis if you are operating safely.
I did not understand one
badges.
I didn't understand.
We don't need nothing.
Dale, by the way, is the chairperson of the Education and Research Committee. I mean, you've really made this into medicine, and we're just interested in it as something to make us feel good.
Right.
Are you located in an area where you can buy nickel bags? Is it a nice school? Is it a building? Where
it's
is
lovely. Yeah, we've got 4 different campuses. So we have 4 campuses, 3 in California. Down in Atwater Village, we're about to move in Los Angeles, which is a lovely, pedestrian walkway with a little
I
shop.
bought a lot of drugs in Atwater Village. I do know.
Before or after you were with my mother, right?
Is it true?
But in Oakland, it's a 3-story building. We have 30,000 square feet.
How do you feel that I slept with your mother? How do you feel about that?
I'm not sure if I should slap you or kiss you. It's just weird.
She was wild, by the way, and I'll tell you something. Your dad may know this too. She
still is. Nothing's changed.
She liked to be licked behind her right knee.
I'll
never
you're
forget
just trying to get smacked.
I'll never forget it.
Now you want to taste smack.
You said something about smack. Do you teach about smack at the school too?
We teach titration. We teach safety and responsibility.
Now we the phones have lit up here.
Is it true that?
But this is what you mentioned. This is important because we agree with you. It's not just medicine; it's recreational, and that's why we're trying to legalize in California for adults.
Yeah. And by the way, is it true that the cigarette companies own the names of you've heard that rumor, haven't you? That they own, Acapulco
I was at that party.
Gold.
I heard that.
Yeah, and they own the names, and if ever it's legalized, you can buy a pack of Acapulco Gold. What else would they sell?
Well, I'll tell you one they don't own the name is Shuli Kush, an exclusive strain that's been developed out in the Bay Area by my buddy Dizzo out there. You might want to look into that, Professor.
And they also have weed.
Thank you, Ira.
What's that, Ira? Weed?
Weed.
You just call it weed?
Yes.
Weed. All right.
Now, I wanted to ask, is it true that your guys' football team is still lost, looking for...
Trying to find the stadium?
Yeah.
You know, one of my favorite lobbyists, the guy that's going against us for law enforcement, he's a lawyer out here. He gives me guff about that. Not that I teach about cannabis, but that I don't have a football team.
Right.
I need a fight song, by the way.
What
if you want
sort
to
of
help me with that.
assholes are against marijuana? It's unbelievable to me. Is it some right-wing asshole in California?
No, in fact, even Fox Business News seems to like us. So
Really?
at this point, you got to be to the right of Fox.
Oh, they smoke over there. They do everything over there. They're such liars. They get abortions at Fox. Don't you think some of those...
They have an abortion doctor working there 24/7.
You think any of the... wouldn't you love to go into Fox and go, everyone who's had an abortion, who's showing their boobs in a red dress on television, raise your hands.
How about you know, in our break room, you got a vending machine, and you got another machine, then the fridge. Same thing in Fox, except there's an abortion doctor in between a couple of the vending machines.
There's a coat hanger machine.
Yeah.
Right in there. And a sterilization thing. Do you mind if we take a few phone calls? It's amazing how you have caused the phones to absolutely light up at 888-STERN-101. Now, realize this is, the Howard Stern station. I'm not responsible for the types of questions you get. Would you like us to go to break? Would you like to take a couple of hits of a joint? I'm not kidding. I'd like for you to take a couple of hits.
Would you?
Yeah, I know. We would. Now, listen, I mean this. Could you take a couple of hits and then come back and answer the questions? Because I want to hear the difference between you, and I know you need it medicinally. I want to hear the difference between you straight right now and after you take a couple of hits of some of the medicinal cannabis from the Oaksterdam University.
Well, we could try, but the beauty is I'm professional enough you wouldn't notice if I were.
I don't believe that. So Kevin, we'll take a break. And when we come back, we will continue the interview, except our guest will be stoned. So stay where you are. It's the Jay Thomas Show.
On staff.
With and maybe someone on the staff. And no, yes. No, I'm not joking. Now, are you going to use a cigarette, a one hitter, or a bong?
I'm a fan of vaporizers.
Vaporizer.
Wow. Now, what does that do?
Nice.
Okay, so you're going to vapor. I want you to vaporize yourself a lot. You know those old shows where you would take a drink and before the show was over, they would show you can't drive or you would kill people or whatever. They do that on July 4th. One time,
get funnier and funnier.
I was with a guy once, and we did it, and he got so drunk he drove home. He died in a car accident. We had him in the studio, and we got him drunk, and then he drove home and he died in a car wreck in Charlotte, North Carolina. When you did that, we never did it again.
That's nothing. How about, we kind of did.
With who?
The guy from Oklahoma who wanted personal license plates that said, I'm gay.
He was killed. He was murdered.
They found him dead.
Dale, we had a guest on who wanted to get I'm gay on his license plate in Oklahoma, or Oklahoma, we told him we should do. And they murdered him 2 weeks later. We told him he's going to get murdered if he doesn't leave Oklahoma.
Holy Hannah. I lived in Wyoming.
You say
7
guff
years.
and you say holy Hannah.
Too.
You say the strangest things. You go, give me guff and all. You sound like somebody from a 1940s detective movie,
Yeah, I'm geeking out on you, aren't I?
Yeah, and geeking out and all that. So you're going to get stoned.
Dale, I thought vaporizers were only in Star Wars.
What?
Indeed. Well, it turns out.
You thought vaporizers were only in Star Wars?
Star Wars.
Really? Yeah. So, okay, I tell you what, Dale. Dale Sky Clare. So go to OaksterdamUniversity.com. She is the gorgeous executive chancellor. Remember now, they are providing quality training for the cannabis industry.
Should I come and lecture?
Yes. Could Julie lecture at the
I would love to have you down as my guest.
Yeah.
Wow.
Absolutely.
And you know what? You'd stay at my home and then you drive up. We drive up there together.
Well, my mom told me about guys like you. I got it.
Hey, listen, we could lecture about how to lecture being stoned.
Yeah. Okay.
There you go.
So you will vaporize, and then we'll take questions when we come back.
All right.
Howard 101.
Jay Thomas.
It's the weirdest and the wildest.
Check 1, 2. Testing.
Ladies and gentlemen,
You're listening to the Jay Thomas Show. It's obscene. It's wrong.
I like it.
this is what it sounds like.
Howard 101. Yes.
Stay where you are. Sarah Palin's slut daughter makes a public service announcement.
Good morning.
We'll be playing that. You know what? I know you're not hearing that in Tulsa. You're not hearing that headline in Tulsa. No, you're not. Go to OaksterdamUniversity.com. Dale Sky Clare is the executive chancellor of a university that has quality training in the cannabis industry. And we've asked her to vaporize herself, and we come back and we would let you ask some questions at 888-STERN-101. First of all, Dale, that middle name, Sky, is that your given name, or did you do that because you're in the industry that has, getting high in it? You know what I mean?
Yeah, that is my legal middle name, and my parents decided that since most folks hate their middle name, they would let me choose my own. So for my 15th birthday, I actually picked that one.
I thought your parents picked it out, and your dad. If that was the case, your dad
was
would probably
Dale
name
not enough?
Roachcliffe.
Yes, Dale Roachcliffe would have been a nice name.
Dale
That's
Roachcliffe.
Right. Your mother and I did Sinzamia, I remember. It was that first, when the Seedless had just come out.
Yeah.
We did some Sinzamia, and oh, God forbid. Ask your mom if she remembers the Ready Whip when you talk to her.
Does she still do the trick with the horse?
Now, does that embarrass you? Does that embarrass you that perhaps I had sex with your mother while we're at the Connecticut School of Broadcasting? What school, Jay? The Connecticut School of Broadcasting?
That's right. I believe that you were hot for teacher, because I do have one hot mama.
I know.
So I don't blame you for trying. I really don't.
And I don't believe your mother was married to your dad then. I don't think.
Hey, when you were at CSB with her mom, how were the cans back then?
CBS, Columbia School. No, CSB. That's right. CSB. That's right. Now, did you vaporize while we were away?
It's a good morning.
All right, there you go. Now,
yeah, you sound lit. You sound really high.
I mean, really, you sound.
I needed to fortify myself for your callers.
You sound. I mean, before you were really kind of a square. You sounded kind of like, not hip. Now, no, I'm not joking. You, right, Julie? Am I wrong?
You sound really hard, Dale.
But to you probably think you sound normal.
Occasionally.
Yeah.
Oh, I can tell you're fucked.
Now, what is it? Now, by the way, does cannabis lower your inhibitions and make you want to have sex? I mean, is that when you're teaching it at the Oaksterdam University, the things that are in it, it relaxes you. It makes you stop having diarrhea. It makes you stop vomiting. Does it also make you, like less inhibitions, more lovable? What's in there that does that?
I actually, what it does is it kind of lowers anxiety. It doesn't lower inhibitions, however. In fact, many people say, where alcohol might make you absent, cannabis makes you present. You feel good, but you're very aware of yourself and your surroundings.
So you're not looser. You're just doing what you wanted to do.
Super focused and relaxed at the same time.
In effect, and it does lower blood pressure over time.
It's lowered your voice, I can tell you that right now. All right, here we go. Let's go to Mike in Toronto. Mike, we have the chancellor of Oaksterdam University. And do you get a degree there? Do you get a certificate or something when you finish the course?
We have a couple different levels of certifications that you can earn so that if you're trying to get a job in the industry, they can refer back and reference you with us.
Do they give you a corner? Is that how they do it? Where you sell what sort of job do you get?
Well, there's all types. You have patient relations, folks that are trying to get involved in dispensary operations, or qualified kitchens, things along those lines.
I mean, think of how cool it is at this university. If you don't make a bong in shop class, you get in trouble.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Let me ask you this. What do they do in the kitchen?
Well, we have two different methods of ingestion classes. One is vaporizing as an alternative to smoking. It's much safer. And the second is cooking with cannabis. We also have an extracts class. So that
extracts class?
Yep. Yeah. You've got things like hash and keef, which are actually safer than the whole plant medicine because the smoking is the dangerous part. Right. So if you can just extract the good stuff, you're smoking a lot less.
I could make some of that weed.
No, we got Ira stoned on the break.
Little wacky.
Oh, fantastic.
How you feeling, Ira?
Ira, what's the matter, Ira?
I want some weed.
All right. Mike in Toronto. Yes, sir. Go ahead, Mike.
Well, I was going to call in and complain about her saying Canada weed wasn't better.
After talking to you on the break, I wonder if she likes anal the same way her mother did.
Oh, Mike, you misheard. What I said was BC Bud was better, but that you keep the good stuff to yourself. What trickles down to California isn't good.
That's right. Hey, thank you, Mike, for the insightful. Thank you very much, Mike, for the insightful question. Wonderful.
No, BC Bud is great in BC.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Nice try, Mike. Nice try.
And what's his fixation of? Oh, no, never mind. I'm not going to go there. The one thing we can agree on, though, is that we want to tax cannabis, and we're trying to.
You want to tax
here.
it. Now, that's the Republicans are against that. That's part of the problem.
Actually, that's what everybody agrees on. This is the largest cash crop in California, and it's time California got its fair share.
That's exactly right. Let's go to Wayne of Tennessee. Yes, Wayne, it's the Jay Thomas Show. We have the Chancellor of Oaksterdam University. Yes, go ahead.
Yeah, I was wondering, since you have it legalized for medicinal purposes in California, and New Jersey's trying the same thing, do you have people working with New Jersey, hopefully?
Actually,
you live in New Jersey? I thought you were. Wait a minute. Wait a second. I thought
I'm a truck driver. I'm in Tennessee. I live in Pennsylvania. There's no chance of getting legalized weed there.
There's way too many states involved.
Give it time, brother.
Well, wait a minute. They can't smoke while they're driving anyway.
No, and there are laws. The same laws about driving impaired will always still apply, but this should be about behavior, not possession. And there are folks working in New Jersey. In fact, we've had some amazing students come through from every state in the United States, and they're learning how to work with their local government. New Jersey just passed a law. Your governor just signed it in. I'm sorry, not
How
yours,
many people go to the university? How many people do you have?
We've had about 8,000 graduate. We're about to graduate another 6 or 7.
Do you have any 52-year-old students?
We go from 18 to 82. In fact, we've got...
You have an 82-year-old person?
Yes. I've got grandfathers coming in with their grandsons taking class together. I have collared priests. I have retired law enforcement officers.
Wait a minute. You have a priest coming in there?
Collared priests. I've had more than one.
Collared.
More than one.
A collared priest. Yeah, collared.
Not politically correct.
They're flying their flag proud.
Have you heard of collard greens? There's a collared priest. There's a collard green. All right.
Yeah,
what it does is the cannabis relaxes the altar boys prior to insertion.
Love lubricant.
Yeah. Well, thank you very much.
It'll relax the priest so that they don't go there in the first place.
Let's go to Jason of Chicago. Yes, Jason, the Jay Thomas Show. There is actually a university that teaches you about cannabis. Yes, Jason, what's your insightful question?
Hi there. Big fan, Jay. Big fan.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I work in a field where I'm in corrections, and I just find it amazing that all the people that have come to my office, I ask a question at the intake interview, what drugs have you used in the past? And they all say that they started off with marijuana, and these are big-time heroin users, cocaine users, meth users.
Right.
And
gateway drug, right?
Yeah, it's a gateway drug. I mean, I just, in my 11 years experience, I just find it amazing that all my clients, they have said that the first drug that they've ever used was marijuana, and then they move on to other things.
Well, what about if you go back before marijuana? What if it was cigarettes? If everybody starts smoking cigarettes before they start smoking pot, then you could say cigarettes are a gateway drug.
The heroin users in the studio.
Kevin Kraft stepping up to the plate.
Now, wait a minute.
Thank you.
This guy hasn't said a word all day. The next thing you know, he's attacking. So you put people in prison or in rehab or something, and you say they all started smoking pot. From the Oaksterdam University. Dale Skyclair, you're completely loaded right now. And now, what possible answer could you have?
In 1999, the Institute of Medicine put out a report completely debunking the theory that was really basically just a news report once upon a time, claiming this gateway theory. The reality is, I could turn around and say that football causes alcoholism because most people that are watching football drink. There is a correlation that most people that use hard drugs have experimented with multiple drugs, but the truth is very few people that start with cannabis ever go on to use other drugs. In fact, coffee and cigarettes, coffee is more addictive. Now, there are behavioral issues that we do have to address as far as dependency, but we can use these tax dollars to address that.
Hey,
right now, California
Jason,
prisons are
she
at
did this while she's stoned. She gave you the whole thing in your face, completely loaded.
Douche nozzle. Nice. Way to go.
Are you, by the way, Jason, were you ever hooked on anything before you got into the hooked up business?
No, I don't.
I think people that smoke pot then get on heroin are weaklings. What do you think of that?
The most dangerous part about it is really prohibition.
Yes.
We're taking people that are positive members of society and we're throwing them in prison for a harmless drug. Now, when I say harmless, I mean it's safer than alcohol, it's safer than cigarettes, it's safer than many foods we commonly consume. In fact, the DEA administrative judge, Francis Young, stated it is the safest therapeutic substance known to man, and yet we're throwing people in jail. 87% of the drug war, marijuana possession crimes.
Wow, you're getting kind of hot under the bong, aren't you? All right, Jason,
we're putting our people in jail.
Yeah, you've given us enough guff. All right, thank you, Jason.
Dale.
Thank you very much.
You guys rock.
Dale.
Yes, Ira.
I started with pot now.
Mm-hmm.
I'm doing weather reports.
You started with pot, and now you're a weatherman.
That is right.
So it was the gateway to weatherman.
Mm-hmm. Oh, that's scary.
Jesus.
Dale, we are going to have pot.
There's a program.
We're going to have pot all around the city today, all around California today. We're all going to go out on the streets and have some pot.
What is pot, Ira?
What we got to do, honestly, this is the truth.
Well, we're coming to the end of the interview when it causes you to become a weatherman.
What pot should I smoke that will Dane cook funny?
That will
make. Whenever you come to New York City, stop at the Seven Seas.
I'll meet you in Rhode Island next week.
All right, you're going to Rhode Island next week. Well, finally, let's go to Scott of Boston. Scott, what an enlightening conversation.
How you doing, Scott? Scott, around your way today, it's going to be around 55.
Everybody talking
to
once.
60 degrees.
That's right, Ira.
Just whatever you feel like saying. Run the sound effects. Somebody take a dump on some of the equipment. Yes, go ahead. We've got Dale Sky Claire from Oaksterdam University here, and what's your question?
Hey, Dale, how you doing?
Hi, Scott.
I was wondering, where's your online courses?
You want an online university?
Yeah, we're not doing online yet because we still have issues with state to state. However, we do have campuses in Oakland, Los Angeles, North Bay, and Michigan.
Wow.
We're also planning classes out in Rhode Island and a couple other places. Perhaps Washington.
Right, you're getting them in Rhode Island. That's good. I'm right on the border of Rhode Island.
Right on. Yeah, we're trying to
go to the now. Wait a minute. Now you'd go to the university, and what would you do with your degree once you got it, Scott?
Well,
now I'm going to talk to Scott.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry.
What, Scott? What would you do with your degree?
I'd grow weed with my oldest son and sit back in the backyard and get high with him.
You and your son would just get high, but you need to have some disease of some sort.
Oh, I have massive headaches, chronic back pain, explosive diarrhea.
You have explosive diarrhea and massive back pain. Does that, Dale? Does that sound like? Can you go into the doctor and say, "I have explosive diarrhea," and they'll give you
take some Pepto-Bismol.
Well, anything for which cannabis may provide relief.
Yes. All right.
And if you go to taxcannabis.org and help us in November, any adult over 21 can walk in and obtain cannabis for recreational use.
Good.
Taxcannabis.org.
Well, I know parents everywhere are excited that Dale Sky Claire has been with us from the Oaksterdam University. Dale, thank you very much. You're the chancellor, and you're giving quality training for cannabis. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jay.
Have a good weekend, Dale.
You as well, gentlemen.
Hey, Dale, we really want to come out for a lecture, though.
Dale, we want to do this show right in front of your house.
Yes, we do.
You have my number.
All right.
All right. Thank you.
Care.
Thanks.
You know what? I mean, a very nice person. But in the end, it's all a bunch of bullshit. It's like, come on, it's to get stoned. It's like, first of all, some low percentage of people have real illnesses.
Well, the greatest is the classroom photos because you see all the students in there. And it's really fucking funny.
8,000 students.
It's like 8,000 of me, except with hair.
Good God. And the weird thing is I think that, for the first time in my life, I believe it'll become legal, but I don't know how you legalize something that when you smoke it, it changes your outlook on stuff. I mean, I can have a couple of beers and drive a car and I'm fine. When I'm stoned, I don't like driving.
So that's the problem with it.
The thing is, it's different for everyone. Like I drive just fine when I'm stoned.
No, you don't.
I absolutely do. I absolutely do.
Don't.
I
You
focus
think you
more.
do. You're lying to
I
yourselves.
focus more. You don't tell me when I'm lying to me. I know when I'm lying
You're
to me.
You're potheads. Potheads always think they're doing. She thought she was talking normally. She sounded like a complete nut when she started smoking.
Vaporizing.
Well, who replaced Jay with Mother Teresa over here? We're potheads?
Yes. And you know what? When you drive, you're not okay when you're stoned.
You're worse off driving drunk than stoned. That is a fact.
I didn't say drunk. I said a beer.
I'm saying drunk.
I said a beer. But you don't sit down and go,
alcohol is more dangerous. On any alcohol, it is more dangerous behind the wheel of a car than pot.
Tonight, all right, watch this. Tonight when I let's see.
All right, you drink tonight, I'll get high.
I'm going to go out and do something. I'm going to go out and do something tonight. So I go, look, I kind of would like my wits about me. I'll have a drink, or
right,
a beer or whatever. And then I go out. Then I go, hey, I want to have a kind of a high experience. I take 2-3 hits of pot. Now I'm high.
Right.
And I'm like having another experience. That's not true with booze. It's different. That's why it's hard to legalize.
Well, with booze, though, at least with pot, I've never lost control on pot.
Lost control of what? Your bowels?
No, just yourself being in control. No.
Yeah, you have to be home, though.
No, you don't. I've been out in situations and gotten stoned but getting drunk, number one, it's a much more physical high. It's not just, pot is more of a mental high.
I think I'm talking about driving a car, taking care of your kid, or doing stuff. When you're stoned, you could have a drink and still do it, but you can't take 2-3 hits of pot and get, if it's good, and still have a normal life. You can't.
That depends which definition normal is.
No. Your wife is not going to let you take care of the baby when you're stoned. She's not. And she shouldn't. You could drop the kid. You know what you'll do? Where did I put it?
How many sober people have dropped their kids?
God forbid.
Not many. Many.
Don't you get in the middle of this, Ira. How many sober people have dropped their kids?
All of you.
Tons.
All of you potheads ought to be rounded up.
Well, we'll be easy to catch.
Here I've changed completely. I've turned against this woman completely.
Yeah.
By the way, she's calling her mother right now, telling her that I licked her behind the leg.
You took it in the shit locker from
No. And by the way, when she said CB, whatever it was, she was talking Connecticut School of Broadcasting. Did I joke about it earlier?
Yeah.
In law, right?
Yeah.
And then the guy said, do you like anal? And she goes, well, we have interesting buds.
Right.
Surely, how is Ayatollah doing?
Ayatollah Jr.?
It isn't Ayatollah.
No, that's all.
He said, what's Shuley's daughter's name? I said, Ayatollah something.
When we were out the other day, Wednesday night, we went out for drinks, and I'm sitting next to Ira, and he goes, how is Ayatollah?
The other night, we went to a place called the Russian Vodka Bar, and it's at 52nd and 8th, and it's a really great Russian place. And we go in, and it's Christina Palumbo and Shuley and Ira and Garrett and me, and we're drinking infused vodkas, right? And so all of a sudden, we wanted to go out and vaporize.
Yeah.
So we all get up to go vaporize, and
we leave Garrett with Ira.
We were going to leave Ira by himself, right? Yeah. But you didn't want to leave him alone, right?
Yeah, I didn't want him sitting in the corner by himself.
Besides, Garrett looked like he was Korean after the first vapor session.
So we go outside, and what was it like, you and Ira just sitting together? What was the conversation like?
Ira doesn't really further the conversation when you talk to him.
Oh, hold on a minute. Hold on. Let's everybody get quiet. See, we're just sitting with Ira.
Shirley, how's your daughter doing?
She's doing great, Ira. Thanks.
Great. Little baby Eleanor from the 7 Seas. She's 11 months old.
Wow.
That is right. Jay, next week.
Yes.
In Pelham Manor.
Where? Pelham Manor.
Pelham Manor. Mm-hmm. We're opening one of the largest
boxes.
Oh,
stores.
It's
casino
cans.
It's called Fairway
Market
Supermarket.
Right, the Fairway Market is open.
Yes.
You're going to be there?
Yes, I will. Around 6:30 in the morning.
You get there at 6:30 for the opening of the market.
Oh yes. Oh, yes.
Now, you're
They're gonna
saying
be
this
having
man
grand
doesn't...
opening?
Hold it a minute. You're saying he didn't converse with you?
He did not. Well, I would ask him questions. He would answer.
Well, we just sat here with him and he conversed.
We had a nice conversation.
Wouldn't you say that was conversing? I'm not sure.
Jay, there is a food fight
yes.
in my mind.
Really? I see. So what happened? Yeah, it did.
I kept asking him questions. Where's he gambling?
Well, maybe you're too fucking nosy is your problem.
Maybe. I felt like I was.
Yeah, and then what did he do?
And then all of a sudden he just takes out his cell phone and he starts playing with it. And it's 1 minute, 2 minutes, and I'm waiting, and then I'm like, what are you doing? And he goes, I had to delete some things. Like, I couldn't.
Like you were too close. He didn't want you.
He didn't even want to talk to me anymore. He just had to start deleting.
Gary got brushed off by Ira. Ira picked up his phone like it was a BlackBerry. Yeah,
let's go to Alex, Florida. Alex, are you stoned right now, this very moment?
Yes, I'm still here.
You're stoned?
No. It's a little too early.
It's too early for you to be stoned?
Pussy. Yeah. What's your question, sir?
Go ahead. Yeah. We just had a stoned guest on. By the way, she was a square before she was stoned, and she was a bigger square after she was stoned.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead, Alex. Yes, sir.
Okay, well, I'm a sales rep for the tobacco industry, and I travel around 27 states, just driving from state to state.
Right.
And most of the time, I'm probably saying around 95% of the time, I'm stoned driving. And I can drive perfectly fine. The thing is that some certain people, like, for instance, my wife, she can't drive stoned because she just can't handle it. There's a lot of people that it just depends on them. They have to have a strong mind.
Now, if they legalize pot, how would we know who can, because you smoke to get stoned. I don't drink to get drunk or high. I drink because you like the taste or whatever. If you drink to get drunk, you're an alcoholic. But when you take a puff of pot, even one, you want to take the edge off. You want to get stoned.
But that's the same reason you have 2 beers after work too, is to take the edge off.
Could you just take one hit of pot? Shuli, could you just take
to
one?
relax your mind?
You can take one hit and stop.
Absolutely, I could.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
All right.
I would rather not.
That's what I mean.
But I mean, I will, if I have to, if it's the situation, even if I can't smoke, then I don't smoke.
All right.
Yeah, same thing with me. I have to kind of limit myself because I'm out here for a month at a time.
Now you deliver tobacco, like leaves of tobacco, or cigarettes? What do you deliver?
What I do is I sell accessories.
What do you mean?
So anything that you see in tobacco stores, from lighters, humidors.
For like cigars and all that. I'd like to get a fabulous humidor. You have a humidor you could send me? What sort of humidor would you give me?
I work for a company called Vector, and we provide a lot of accessories for, yes.
Instead of a humidor, you know what I do? I put a wet paper towel inside of a cigar box. Does that work just as well?
Yes, it does.
See that?
What would be better?
Orange peel.
Instead of damping that towel with water, use some whip.
Hey, you put bourbon on it or something.
Yeah,
I'm going to do that.
You put your cigars in there and you throw a little bit of like a shot of whiskey on the towel and let them sit there for 5 days. You can actually let them, and it'll change the taste of the cigar.
Because this is, Stern one. You know what? There's just certain questions I'm supposed to ask. There's a list.
It's in the handbook.
Yeah, it's in the hand. Have you ever put a cigar inside of a woman?
No, not personally. I've heard of people doing it, though.
Really?
I've heard of my customers talking about it.
Do you leave the tip on or you bite it off?
My next question was going to be that,
Give us a call, 888-STERN-101.
At those fairs, how do those women smoke cigars? Vagina. Have you seen that at a fair? How do they fair?
I saw it at a state fair.
That's what I mean.
Yeah.
How do you, Alex, have you ever seen smoke come out of a woman's vagina?
Yes, I have.
What's that, Alex?
Yes, I have. It was a cigarette, but
how do they do that? That's amazing.
Skill to do that.
That's a very special skill. All right, Alex.
Yes.
Thank you for sharing. Thank you. so much. Thank you. Chris from Indianapolis, are you stoned at this very moment?
Yeah, how you doing, Jay?
You're stoned now.
Hey, man.
Hey, what's up, Shirley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, good. Thank you, Chris. Appreciate it.
All right, bye.
There you go. Stay where you are.
It's not so cool.
Famous for roles on Murphy Brown.
This man is making a sexual advance on my wife.
One leg over my shoulder.
Are you talking about shaved assholes and your kids in the car?
The Jay Thomas Show. Howard 101.
We want to welcome to our studios in New York. Go to Fellatio Queen, FELLATIO.com, the author of Romancing the Cock, or Fellatio, the Forbidden Foreplay. Laverne Johnson, welcome to the show, Laverne.
Thank you.
How are you, darling? Now, Laverne, Ira the Weatherman brought you to our attention. How do you know our beloved Ira the Weatherman?
I met Ira on a bus.
On the way to Atlantic City?
A gambling
trip.
No, it wasn't.
Yes.
No.
On a bus.
I think that was the weekend that she called me because she spent all her money in Atlantic City.
Now, that's your daughter there?
Yeah, that's my daughter.
And your daughter's name is...
Taikisha.
Fellatini? What is it? Taikisha? I thought it was Fellatini. So now you met Ira on the bus, and he said, "I'm on the radio, and would you like to promote your book?" Is that what he said?
No, we got into conversation, and I told him about the book. Mm-hmm. And he seemed very interested. So he said, "I wanted you to meet Jay." So
you opened up the conversation with, "I have a book about fellatio."
She always does.
I promote myself all the time.
Really?
Yes, I do.
And did he know what Ira, did you know what fellatio was?
Yes, I did.
You already knew what it was.
Yes.
All right. Now, have you fellated Ira?
Never.
No, not what. All right.
Mm-hmm. Friends don't do friends.
Friends don't fellate other friends.
Isn't that the drunk driving campaign?
Yeah, it is. Now, Taikisha, your mother is the fellatio queen, and her book is Romancing the Cock.
I'm the fellatio princess.
Oh, you're in the thing also.
My lady.
Wow.
An honor and a privilege.
So it is a family of fellatiates.
Pretty much.
Well,
wow.
How did your mom bestow this gift and this knowledge on you?
Well, of course, I was embarrassed, early in.
Yes.
However, being around this topic and this situation for so long and traveling to Europe and abroad, it broadened my thinking, and here I am.
Your mother has traveled the world teaching fellatio.
Yes, privately.
Wow.
Is it something you prefer more than actual intercourse at times?
Yes, now, yes.
Really?
Yes.
Bravo.
Now look. Now, Laverne, it seems simple. A penis gets hard, you put your mouth on it, and you lick or you suck or whatever. Well, what would be difficult about it? What are people how are they doing it wrong, I guess, is the question.
Because there's an art, but I'll let her indulge in it.
There's an art? Go ahead, Laverne.
I think that for me, being a woman, if you're introduced to it, get to know the cock, it would be a better foreplay.
You mean you would speak to the cock?
Yes, I would.
And the man should do what? Just keep quiet while you're being introduced?
Yes, he should.
So the woman would what sort of wording
you
would
find
you
out
use?
how the cock's day went?
And what do you say to the cock? How do you I mean, if you were giving a master class in oral sex, what would you do?
How do you approach it?
Yeah.
I'll approach it.
Do you wiggle it? Do you
grab it, take a hold of it, and show them who's in control?
You teach
Perfect answer.
There's going to be a lot of clapping in this interview, my friend.
Yeah,
now, does it help that you don't, I mean, do you have false teeth?
No.
Oh, okay. Because I was wondering, people that, at a certain age, sometimes they lose a few teeth. Is it better to take your dentures out?
Well, I would think that it would work.
Right.
Yeah. Because
yeah.
remember now, a lot of women, because they're not doing it properly, when I say properly, they're just giving blowjobs, weaving and bobbing up and down. You know, the teeth can glide along that.
Now, do you put the tongue under the penis?
Yeah.
She's actually trained people to make it feel as though you have a mouthful of false teeth and that they were taken out.
Wow.
Wow. Now, what about the gag reflex? How do you, there's actually a shot you can take that I know that some women in the
it's a judo chop right to the throat.
No, there's actually, and you can, you know, it's a medical thing.
Well, for beginners,
it's called a uvula. It's called a uvula.
How do you master that gag reflex?
I'm not going to tell you what that, you have to get the book.
Businesswoman, too.
Yeah.
Romancing the Cock, Laverne Johnson. Go to fellatioqueen.com.
I have a question for both mother and daughter. Cut or uncut? Circumcised, uncircumcised, pro or con? What do you prefer and why?
Well, it's two cocks. Circumcised, which means extra foreskin.
Right.
And uncircumcised.
No, the other way around.
Opposite.
Right.
Well, it's more work with the foreskin.
Right.
Less with
it's more work.
Yeah, you have to really pull the skin back to expose.
So
whereas the circumcised is already exposed. But in reading and getting information, the guy that has the foreskin gets more of a pleasure.
More sensitivity.
Yeah.
So it's quicker. So that's a woman's answer right there. She has to spend less time down there.
Stop the clapping.
I'm excited for this.
I know.
Excuse
now,
me.
Laverne and Taikisha, do you consider yourselves prostitutes?
Oh, hell no. Do I look like a prostitute?
I have no idea.
They're very, very decent people.
Well, then put your pants back on, Ira.
Now, when you say
classy ladies.
Now, if I were to pay you a certain amount of money to demonstrate me, what would it cost?
Well, I don't sell that.
Indecent proposal.
Yeah.
You mean you wouldn't? You
I
just
wouldn't.
give you a freebie.
No freebie.
No. What I'm saying is you have the book and you have fellatioqueen.com, but I would imagine that people would pay good money to have someone of your ability.
Well, let's put it like this. I currently have a stalker, which is an ex.
You have a stalker.
Yeah.
It's hard to let that go, I guess, huh?
Yes. That's what I've been told. I can't believe it, though.
Right.
So you went down on him and he can't leave you alone.
Basically.
Wow. And now what did you charge for the going down on him?
Well, I was with him for quite some time, so
it was no charge.
It was endless.
Yeah.
Now, does it sound like do you have to have a lot of saliva in your mouth, or are people just naturally dry mouthed and that's why they give bad blowjobs?
No, basically.
Is that Ira breathing? Who is that breathing?
You get bad blowjobs because you don't understand what you're doing. See, when women go down on a man, she goes down because he wants her. He asked her to. She has to start learning how to do it for herself. And when she's doing it for herself, she's enjoying it as well as with him. He's going to enjoy it more.
Here.
Now, do you have step-by-step instructions in your book?
Yes, I do.
Is there a DVD people can purchase?
I'm in the process of making that right now.
And is Taikisha starring in that?
Right.
Let's guess.
So what about, I remember years ago, and black friends of mine would say that black women did not like to give head generally, and it was not part of the black culture.
I heard it was black men don't like to go down on women. That's
what is that all about? I mean, is that wrong, or did you open the door?
We'll do anything.
Did you open the door for black people to have more oral sex?
I'm not opening the door. Whoever performed that wants to perform, that's why I renamed it Fellatio, the Forbidden Foreplay, because remember years ago, fellatio wasn't thought of as sex. Now, women are more open to it now.
You know what?
They're more open.
I always thought fellatio was sex.
You're like the Rosa Parks of fellatio. You are a trendsetter, a historian. You're a leader, not a follower. Yeah. That's what it's all about.
Yeah.
So, how many books have you sold?
Well, presently none. I'm looking for a publisher right now, and hopefully it'll be millions.
Now, you think that the airport would ever carry Romancing the Cock, so before you take off, you would grab one of those little paperbacks to...
That's why I renamed it Fellatio, the Forbidden Foreplay.
The Forbidden Foreplay.
As opposed to the original one, Fellatio, the Art of Romancing a Cock.
Ah.
The art of romance. Yeah, and so, FellatioQueen.com.
You know what I realized, Jay? We've spent too much time with Mr. Tuttle, and we should have spent more time with them. We gotta have you back on.
The mastering of oral sex, the information that should be accessible to all women. But what about men that are just becoming gay and need to learn how to do it? Is there something in there for them also?
Yes, it is.
The whole book.
The whole book is there.
The whole book.
Well, mother and daughter, Taisha. Wonderful to have you two on. Now, do you still attend church regularly?
Yes, I do.
I knew. Somebody told me that.
Yeah.
Does the minister get upset with you because you're the fellatio queen?
No, she blows him. All right, let's hear it for
why
that.
should he?
Is it in the Bible that said, ye shall go down and make ye
Is
feel
sex
good?
in the Bible that say...
He wants to buy the book for his wife.